Corey Lidle is going to get the start for the New York Yankees, so he walks into the stadium for the first time as a Yankee, and it is a hot one. They are going to have to do everything they possibly could, fans and ball players alike, to stay cool, stay hydrated, and have some fun here at Yankee Stadium. It's that sort of day. And today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the Toronto Blue Jays against the New York Yankees in the final game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Jim Cott and John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. Like the weather, the Yankees are smoking. They've gone 4-1 so far on this homestand. This game will end the homestand. They'll go to Baltimore after the game for a weekend set. Let's take a look right away at the pitching matchup, because that's the storyline of the day, brought to you by your local Infinity retailers. Sean Markham's going to go for the Blue Jays, 1-0, 4.81. Corey Lidle makes his first start for the Yankees after coming over from the Phillies, 8-7, 4.74. Coming over from the Phillies, who are struggling to stay in the wild card race, and to the Yankees, it's a big jump, but it's a jump that Corey Lidle is thrilled that he's made.
Well, this is, I think this is a dream for every Major League Baseball player to play here in New York for the Yankees. I've been on losing teams, I've been on winning teams, and the most exciting part of me being here now, even though I was the other player, is I'm going to be with a group of guys that expect to win every day, and I think it's going to raise the level of my play, and I'm just excited to get started.
Well, it's interesting that Corey Lidle considers himself the other player. I know the Yankees and Brian Cashman in particular don't feel that way. You know, Corey Lidle comes here as a proven major league pitcher. He's got about 6 or 7 quality pitches, and he's looking to be the 5th guy on the staff.
And the Yankees are not getting a kid. You heard him say he's been on winning teams, losing teams, and I think the thing he said there is key. He has pitched for winning teams, and that's important to the Yankees. This is his 9th season. He was originally signed by the Twins, made his debut actually with the Mets, and you probably know this already, but in case you don't, he was a high school teammate of Jason Giambi.
Well, they'd like to give him an early lead, give him some of the butterflies out of his system, and the guy who could do that is Alex Rodriguez. He has been on fire here in the first couple of games of this series. August is a good month for him. We will examine it further when we get back right here on Yes. He's been on fire, and when you're going well, you even make these funky slides that work out.
Well, kind of a crazy play. Alex Rodriguez smokes this ball to left field, down the left field line. You can see right out of the box, he's thinking 2 right away. Frank Catalanato, known more for his offense than his defense, comes up with a great throw, but an even better slide there by Alex Rodriguez. He likes it.
When you're hot, you're hot. And A-Rod's had a great series. He's 5 for 9 against the Jays. That's .556, 4 ribbies and 2 runs scored. August, historically, always his best month. .238 this year against Toronto. 3 home runs, 12 ribbies, and 10 runs scored. So, you know, A-Rod is in the lineups. When we come back, we'll have the lineups. We'll have the first pitch. Most importantly, we'll have baseball next on Yes. Car company of the Yankees. Subway, eat fresh. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. 41% humidity, and it is 110 degrees right now on the field at Yankee Stadium. So you would have to assume that weather is going to be a factor specifically for the pitchers, and you don't want to leave out the catchers with all the gear on. Let's take a look at what Corey Lidle is going to have to battle other than the heat. The Blue Jays starting lineup is presented by Rico. Reed Johnson in left field leads off. Frank Catalanato, the kid from Smithtown, Long Island, will DH and bat second. Good numbers lifetime against Lidle. Vernon Wells, the center fielder, will hit third, cleaning up third baseman Troy Gloss. Lyle Overbase at first base, batting 5th. Batting 6th and playing right field is Alex Rios. Greg Zahn gets another start behind the plate. He'll bat 7th. Batting 8th and playing shortstop Aaron Hill. And Ryan Roberts, the young second baseman, will bat 9th.
Corey Lidle, 21 starts, 8-7. Those are his numbers, of course, with the Phillies. And more than a hit per inning. Pretty good strikeout total for a guy who doesn't throw that hard, and John's got the scouting report.
Well, let's take a look at the Land Rover pitcher scouting report. A new lease on life. Corey Lidle, like you said, Jim, comes from the Phillies here to the Yankees, hoping that the Yankees give him a little more run support. And if you can't beat him, acquire him. Corey Lidle 6-2 against the Yankees in his career, and keep him close. The Yankees are just hoping that Corey Lidle can be a 5th starter, keep them in the game, and hopefully let their offense take over.
So we are ready for baseball, and Corey Lidle deals, and the pitch is outside, 1-0. We are underway. Well, the temperature in the city is 97 degrees right now. We just showed you that on the field it is 110. Pitch to Reed Johnson is outside, and the count 2-0. Lidle has won 4 straight, those 4 with the Phillies. He was supposed to start on Tuesday, so 2 extra days for him since the acquisition. And there's a strike, the count 2-1.
I did not realize, I think it's since mid-May, the Yankees haven't gotten a victory from any pitcher in that number 5 spot.
0-5, 11.51 ERA in 11 starts by the 5th starter. 3 2/3 innings they average per start. That one's chopped right back to Lidle. And there's one away. The Yankees baseball is presented in high definition where available. It's brought to you by Sony Bravia.
John, we talked about it the other night. Well, here's the first of all, we'll look at the play. Just a little tapper. Now, that's very Chen-Ming Wang-like, as we expect that from Chen-Ming Wang. But we've talked in recent days the positive effect Lidle could have on the Yankee staff is if he's able to go 5 or 6 innings, it might open up a role for Sidney Ponson, who wasn't good as a starter, to come in as a hard thrower just pitch an inning or so.
That's exactly right. And I think the Yankees are just looking for that. You know, it's kind of like Jared Wright. You know he's going to go his 5 innings, maybe 6. And Corey Lidle, if he can give you that same effort, and you know he has the ability to keep his team in the ball game. You can see he's not a hard thrower like a Chen-Ming Wang, but he's got the same kind of movement down in the strike zone.
The 0-1. And also, if you look at his numbers, he's a much better pitcher in the second half of the season. His numbers, career-wise, lower ERA, much more wins, better winning percentage, and I guess he gets it going after the All-Star break. So the Yankees got him at the right time, the 1-1. Right in on the fist, then grounded to second. Nick Green over to Craig Wilson, and there's 2 away. Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. The SAP is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
You know, Michael, you bring up the fact that he's a second-half pitcher. His numbers are better, and a lot of times with a sinker baller, the more fatigued you get, the more innings you log, you actually create some more movement. So that might be the reason for that strong second half.
Might be a good idea for him to pitch winter ball. Here's Vernon Wells, 10 for his last 25. And the pitch is outside, 1-0.
Well, what John refers to, I mean, I was a sinker ball pitcher, and I think what happens early in the year, you feel fresh coming out of spring training. Sometimes you overthrow the ball, and you feel like you can throw a little harder than your kid. You're not really pitching within yourself like Lidle is right now.
And the 1-1.
Well, the guys in the field have to like this on a hot day because he's known as a nibbler, but he's working fast and right now throwing strikes, getting ahead. And you'd like to get your teammates off the field and into the dugout as quickly as you can on a day like today.
And we talked about it last night. You know, the new acquisitions. You want to get that first inning, that first at bat out of the way. And Corey Lidle doing a nice job in the first inning here.
And the 1-2. Right back to Lidle. 3 ground balls, 3 up, 3 down. An impressive first inning debut for Corey Lidle. It's the Blue Jays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Damon, Jeter, and Abreu will lead it off. Taking the mound, Yankees getting cool in their dugout. Let's see if they can get hot with the bat. The Yankees starting lineup is presented by Rico. Johnny Damon in center field will lead off. Batting second and playing shortstop, the captain, Derek Jeter, in the midst of an 11-game hitting streak, during which time he's hit 500. Bobby Abreu's in right field, couple hits yesterday. Alex Rodriguez, 3 hits yesterday, will clean up. You've got Giambi, the DH, Craig Wilson at first, Melky Cabrera at left, Sal Fasano will catch, and Nick Green is the second baseman batting ninth.
And Sean Markham will take the mound for the Blue Jays. 10 games, more than a hit per inning, couple of home runs. Yankees have seen him before. John will give you the scouting report in just a moment.
Pitch to Johnny Damon is a strike.
Well, here is the Land Rover scouting report. And he's a gamer. This guy was a position player, like Jim referred to before, at Southwest Missouri State, so he's got that everyday player mentality. And double duty, like I said, he was an infielder at Southwest Missouri State and a pitcher, and the Blue Jays signed him as a pitcher. He's not overpowering. He doesn't throw as hard as some of these young Blue Jay pitchers, but his slider's his best pitch, and he's a competitor.
Started against the Yankees on July 23rd. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. Ended up getting the win through 92 pitches in 5 innings. Pitches high. Yankees getting back at the Blue Jays because that series, the Yankees lost 3 out of 4 in Toronto, but then righted themselves by winning 3 straight in Texas, 2 out of 3 against Tampa Bay, and now the first 2 against Toronto. Damon fouls it back. And Toronto is in a little bit of trouble right now. John Gibbons has called this road trip that they're on make or break. That's a quote, and it looks like they might have been broken there. 2-7. And this is the final game of the 3-city road trip. They were 1-2 in Seattle, 1-3 in Oakland, and now 0-2 here in New York. And during the 9 games, they've been outscored 50-37. You see they've dropped 7.5 behind the Yankees and the Red Sox.
It looks like the Blue Jay infielders are going to feel the same way about Markham. He gets it, he throws it, throwing the ball over the plate, works fast.
Only difference is he's facing some hitters that'll keep spoiling pitches and give you some deep at bats. Damon, number 1 hole, and Abreu in the 3 hole.
Now we've talked about the road trip, and Roy Halladay has done his part. 1-0, 2.63. The bullpen blew the other win for him. The rest of the starters on the trip 0-6 with a 9.00 ERA. So it has been a tough go for the Blue Jays. And I was talking to Gibbons before the game. I said, well, there's still 2 months to go. Popped up. Losses there. And he puts it away. And he said, well, what did Yogi say? It's getting late early. He said, there's not that much time. And here is Derek Jeter. Now, Jeter has been even better than Jeter usually is. He has an 11-game hitting streak. We showed you during the lineups he's hitting .500 during that time. And then he's hitting .355, just 10 points behind Joe Mauer, the catcher for the Twins, for the lead in the American League. Now, Mauer leading the American League in hitting is odd, because the last American League catcher to lead the league in hitting this late in the season was Brian Downing of the Angels in 1979, and he led it through August 12th. It's such a tough position in which to excel offensively because there's so much emphasis put on the defense.
Well, it's true, and I think obviously the fact Joe Mauer isn't going to be able to get those infield hits like a Derek Jeter and an Ichiro will do, and had a great year, but you don't think that average is going to stay up there in the second half with the fatigue setting in.
Now, is it more the fatigue physically, John, or is it a mental fatigue where you have to worry about calling games and keeping a pitcher right?
Well, I think it's more mental. Physically, a lot of times players, and we talked about a Corey Lidle, who's a second-half pitcher. Sometimes the more fatigued you get, you actually don't try and do too much at the plate, but the mental grind of catching.
12 straight games for Derek Jeter as he continues to gain ground on Joe Mauer.
Hitters call this keeping the hands inside the baseball. The temptation with the pitch there is to turn on it and try to pull it. But Derek has that, he's got that swing down pat. He keeps those hands in close to his body and almost shoves the ball out into play. Gets a lot of hits like that because pitchers will try to run that fastball in on it.
There's Bobby Abreu, a couple of hits last night, and he moves from 5th to 3rd in the lineup as Joe Torre is trying to find exactly what works. Abreu thinks about bunting but takes a strike. Boy, if you want to think ahead, and you really can if you're the Yankees, but if you want to or allowed, and you just envision this lineup with Sheffield and Matsui back. Sheffield would bat 6th, Matsui would bat 7th.
Where are they all going to play? Do they have enough positions?
And then Posada would bat 8th, and Robinson Cano would bat 9th. Pretty deep lineup. Count 1-1. Sheffield was working out today. Yankees didn't take batting practice. They didn't even have to show up until 11:30 today. And the Blue Jays didn't take BP either. The 1-1. A strike, 1-2.
I think that's typical for teams, day game after night game, not only in the hot weather, but even as the season goes on, if you don't have your swing by now, I don't know if you're going to find it.
Well, we see Chin-Ming Wong there, last night's winner, and Michael, you said they didn't have to be here until 11:30 today. Chin-Ming Wong, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did he know it? Did he get the memo?
1-2.
Getting his work done and getting prepared for his next start, and not only impressive on the mound, but impressive in the clubhouse as well.
Couple of outstanding starts in a row for Wong. The 1-2. Grounded foul.
Going to see a lot of this, just like Jason Giambi is in the lineup today. So from a pitcher's standpoint, you might just make a decision and say, hey, why not trust my stuff and throw the first one right down the middle, because otherwise you're going to end up throwing about 8 or 9 pitches to each guy.
You're exactly right. And from a pitching catching standpoint, against a lineup like this, they're super patient. They don't swing at bad pitches. If you're nibbling, it's going to be a long day or a quick day. Be out of there quick.
And Abreu just keeps fouling them off. Markham is already at 19 pitches.
I wonder someday, it would take a pitcher that had a secure contract, and maybe it would be late in the year, a team that wasn't in the race, that you just went out there and said, I'm going to throw BP fastballs, one pitch, just lay it in there like you do in batting practice and see what the results would be. They might be as good as trying to get them out.
Driven deep to right field. Rios back, still back, track, and he makes the play in front of the wall for the second out of the inning. So Abreu came up a little bit short in his bid for his first Yankee home run.
Didn't have that magic hitter's sound. Chances are it was out off the end of the bat, and it was. It was that late movement, and that's the pitch you'd love to have against left-hand hitters in Yankee Stadium. And was that a changeup?
Looked like a changeup, just enough dive down and away to get off the end of the bat. And see it right here, just enough off the end of the bat. You're right, Kitty. It didn't have that sound to it. I think Bobby was hoping for a little help out there, a little jet stream.
That'll bring up Alex Rodriguez. 8 for his last 20, 12 for his last 30, and he'll take a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. A-Rod with the swim move last night to turn a single into a double. He should have been thrown out at second. Good throw by Catalanato. We showed you that on our open. A-Rod showed the left hand, pulled it back, and moved the right hand into second base ahead of the tag by Hill.
Yeah, and Alex quoted as saying, hey, when you're going to be out by 30 feet, you're desperate, you got to get creative.
Aaron Hill's probably kicking himself a little bit. Opportunity there to get the first out in the inning.
The general thought in the Blue Jay clubhouse today was Aaron Hill has to throw his body down, and even if he crushes A-Rod, well, you've got to do it.
Well, all he had to do was turn and put his knee in front of the bag. He's got it. And you didn't have to, no injury to either player, and there's no way he can get in there.
2-1. 3-1. And Giambi is on deck. Jeter leads off first with 2 outs, a 3-1 count on A-Rod. 24 pitches for Markham, 15 strikes. Ball 4, so A-Rod works a walk, passes the baton to Jason Giambi. Well, today's closed captioning presented by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealers.
Jason's got to love this. He's already got 81 RBIs, but I mean, I don't know what the record is for the month of August. But if this lineup were to continue, pretty close pitch right there. But just a little inside. I don't think it was low. It came across the knees, but he could set some kind of records for RBIs with these 4 guys he's got hitting ahead of him right here if the lineup were to stay like this.
Jeter at second. A-Rod is at first. They're not holding Jeter on very close. That's why Markham stepped off. He could steal third base because the shortstop, Aaron Hill, is playing where the second baseman would play. So Jeter's getting a huge lead. High fly ball, deep right center. Going back Wells on the track at the wall. See ya! 3-run home run for Jason Giambi. And the Yankees jump out to a 3-0 lead. Giambi helps out his former high school teammate.
Well, just like you said, Kitty, if he's going to hit fifth in this lineup and these guys before him are going to work the counts like they have, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Gets a first pitch fastball away from him and crushes it. But Markham, a young pitcher, probably worrying a little bit too much about the guys on the bases, and Jason Giambi reminded him he was there.
You know, when Michael mentioned Jeter's big lead, I was thinking, you know, if I'm Markham, maybe I balk on purpose. So then I can walk Giambi and go with the right-hand hitter. First base over, you know.
Well, his old high school teammate and today's starting pitcher, Corey Lidle, enjoys the 3-0 lead.
He's liking it here in Yankee land so far, huh? 3-0, 1-2-3 inning. It's what he thought he was going to get when he got traded over here.
Well, Craig Wilson was asked, you know, what was the big difference between playing for the Pirates and the Yankees? He said the crowd's a little bigger.
Yeah, his hair's shorter.
And he's moved up in the standings. Count 1-2 on Wilson. High fly ball right field. Rios is there. And he'll put it away for the final out of the first. 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors and nobody left. The big blow off the bat of Jason Giambi. His 31st home run of the year. And the big blow gives the Yankees a 3-0 lead after 1. Training camp report. Join host Bob Papa for the latest news, interviews, and team analysis as Big Blue gears up for their 2006 campaign. It's an all-new season of the Giants Training Camp Report, premiering tonight at 9:30 only on Yes. Troy Glaus leads off. Yankees lead 3-0, and the first pitch from Lidle is a strike.
Boy, those football players got to be having fun doing 2-a-days, day like today. I don't think so.
Pitch outside. Now, Sal Fasano knew that he was going to catch today. Also knew the weather report for the extreme heat. And everybody talks about you've got to stay hydrated in this sort of weather. And Fasano said that's only the second most important thing. He said the most important thing is having a good meal that stays in your system so your body has the energy.
And if you look at Sal, he's a big guy. He's not going to miss a good meal.
Glad you went there, Jim. I wasn't going there.
You always got to needle those catchers a little bit, but we're going to get a look at his ability behind the plate. I mean, he's pretty special back there. The way he handles the glove and sets a target. I mean, I know right now, even if I were younger at his age, if I were to get down in that position, I could get down there, but you two guys might have to help me get up. Did you crouch? I mean, he is almost sitting on the ground.
He is, and I could not get down that low. I didn't have the flexibility that Sal has, but The one thing you're going to notice, he has great quiet hands. Great receiver.
John and I were talking to him before the game, and I asked him in Philadelphia because I noticed, just he's the model catcher from. There's the target. John mentions the soft hands. There was a man named Dennis Flynn who was the dad of one of his boyhood chums that what did he say, he had cardboard. He put cardboard. He just kept throwing balls at him until he could block them. And so he got an awful lot of good training in the mechanics of blocking pitches. And then you mentioned the soft hands, of course, playing for Bob Boone. That would help out.
Textbook right there. And the one thing, Jim, and you can talk about this, but I know a lot of pitchers say they like throwing to a big-bodied catcher. It's a big target for them. They get a good feel, and obviously Sal, it's a lot to look at there.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. But early in my career, Earl Batty. Earl was a kind of a roly-poly, blocky build, sort of like Roy Campanella. But yeah, a combination of that and being able to get low. And the other thing is when you got a man on third and you're worried about throwing a breaking pitch, you'd love to have a guy like that you can trust is going to block it.
Tough at bat for Gloss. He pops that one up to right field. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. Gloss with very little speed doesn't make a big turn, and you have to be impressed by Sal Fasano. Ran all the way over to first and was calling for the ball because Gloss didn't know he was there.
I think that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that's what you're trained to do. And Sal getting down there, and you never know that runner, the first base coach, falls asleep.
But I say that because Michael referred to it, and it is what you're supposed to do. But sometimes you don't see catchers doing it all the time.
Because he had a good meal.
There you go. And he's hydrated.
It's kind of a nice deal for the Yankees to get a catcher who has caught Corey Lidle this year. Be able to have him out there at comfort level for his first start.
Overbay, right back to Lidle, who blocks it and then fires to first and lost the out at second when he dropped the ball. So there's one away. Fasano, on catching in the heat, said, I've caught in this kind of heat before, and you know what to expect. You could lose 5 or 6 pounds of water during the game, and you know that when it's over, you'll be completely exhausted. The Yankees training staff is actually weighing people before the game and then after the game to see how much weight they lost. If they lost too much, they'll take great pains to rehydrate them. Gene Monahan, the head trainer, is certainly all over this. And you saw a shot there of the ammonia water. What does that do? Why the ammonia water?
What it does is it refreshes you. They put an ammonia towel over your head, and you kind of breathe in the ammonia, and it kind of brings your body temperature back quick. It kind of refreshes you in between innings. But I talked to Sal about what he did to prepare for this game, and he said, you know what, when I get out there, I'm just playing, and the trainers will take care of me, and you focus on the game, you're ready to go.
I guess this isn't even that hot, Jim, because you played on that turf in St. Louis.
The thermometer that we showed before the game, if you have an AstroTurf field that they call it the inversion layer, about 3 feet from the ground up, that almost looks like a microwave effect, it would be 135. You couldn't even take batting practice because your shoes, your feet would be burned. But I agree with John. Once the game starts, I think the players are the most comfortable because, they're, first of all, you're thinking about what you're doing. You're active, and after the game, you're tired. But if you're doing well and you're playing in the big leagues, who cares? Thing that's really changed when you see all that stuff in the dugout. Years ago, they'd say take your salt pills. Now they don't even want you to take salt pills, but they're using ammonia water, Pedialyte, which is a solution they give to babies, and then also Powerade, which is a solution that replenishes all the vitamins or the minerals and the necessary things you need to have.
Rios right back to Lidle, has the runner hung up, and he's playing it the right way. And they could get a double play. But Rios got in just ahead of the tag.
Corey Lidle gets a comebacker to him, and he does everything right. You're taught to run right at the runner. I think if he had his choice, he probably would have wanted Gloss to go back to second base, and that's probably where the only mistake was made. But
well, you know, John, last night when Posada made a play, you talked about circling the ball, and that's what you're taught to do as a pitcher, is actually run toward third and make a circle, so you're always running that runner back to second base. See, and now Rios reads it right. Gloss gets caught just long enough in the rundown to be able to get Rios into second base.
Alex had to give the little flip throw there to Green at second base.
4 assists so far for Corey Lidle. 2 in the first, 2 here in the second. There's Greg Zahn. The pitch is in the dirt. The count 1-0. Zahn being in this game, he started on Tuesday as well, and it does lead some to believe, well, has he moved ahead of Benji Molina as the everyday catcher? John Gibbons said that's not the case, but they certainly seem as if they're at least splitting time, and that was not the case at the beginning of the year. And I think that the Blue Jays have to be disappointed in the catcher that they signed in Benji Molina. Molina used to be a lights-out catcher in terms of throwing out base runners. That's not the case anymore.
No, his numbers are down this year, and I talked to Greg Zahn about their whole pitching staff. He said their staff isn't necessarily quick to home plate. Markham today is actually their best guy at holding runners on, so sometimes those numbers are a little misleading, but you got a veteran backup in Zahn, and you want to get him in there a little bit more.
Well, you wonder how much Benji Molina is regretting turning down the $21 million for 3 years that he was offered from the Mets. He thought there was more money out there for him, and it was a game of musical chairs, and when the music stopped, he didn't have a seat, and he actually signed with the Blue Jays for 1 year at $5 million. And you wonder if there's going to be that much money out there next year when he becomes a free agent. They've had 49 stolen bases against Molina this year. He's only caught 12. Not even 20%, so that's not great.
Like John has said, you could take Johnny Bench and give him a staff that couldn't hold runners on his percentage. Most bases are stolen off the pitcher, not the catcher. If you give a major league catcher enough time, in about 2 seconds, he can get it down there and get most of them.
29 pitches for Lidle.
But it's mostly the pitcher's fault, not the catcher's.
3-1. There's a strike, and the count is 3-2. Zahn's percentage is 28% catching base runners. They've stolen 34 against him, and he caught 13.
You know, and sometimes it's a philosophy of that particular team. I know when Mel Stottlemyre was here, he wanted his pitchers concentrating more on the batters, and as a result, sometimes the stolen bases were up a little bit.
Three-2, missed inside. So Zahn works a walk, and that puts runners on first and second with 2 outs for Aaron Hill.
3-2 curveball, and when you don't throw exceptionally hard, that's the key to success. Is you have to be able to get your breaking pitches over when you're behind in the count or in hitters counts, and that one well inside and low.
Corey Lidle has the ability with his curveball to throw a harder curveball, a softer curveball. He's got a real good feel for that pitch, but more times than not, it's going to be a sinking fastball.
Here's Aaron Hill, who has been red hot. Over his last 21 games, 32 for 81. That's .395. He's been shuttled between shortstop and second, shortstop and second. Looks like they have him at second base now primarily, but today he does get a start at short as they give the youngster Ryan Roberts a start at second. Line drive right at Jeter. So Hill hit it hard, but couldn't direct it right at the Yankee shortstop. No runs to hit and 2 men left. Let's go to the bottom of the second at the stadium. Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays nothing on yes. 30 and again after the postgame only on yes. Melky Cabrera will lead off here in the bottom of the second. And the pitch outside 1-0. Yankees lead 3-0 on the strength of a 3-run home run into the bleachers in right center by Jason Giambi, his 31st home run of the year. And Melky Cabrera picks up a single up the middle.
Yeah, Melky says you can talk all you want about getting Matsui and Sheffield healthy, but I'm going to keep hitting it. He's, I mean, he just looks like he gets better all the time.
Well, he does. There's an off-speed pitch that he was able to stay back on. You see right there, keep his hands back and drive it right up the middle. And I was impressed last night with the approach of all the Yankee hitters. You know, it just looked like middle of the field. Take what they give you, and you know, hopefully you get a big swing.
Here's Sal Fasano. Pitches outside.
This got hit and run written all over it, doesn't it, with Sal, runner on first.
Yeah, we talked about Sal's defense, you know, but this guy has some pop. He's got some serious power, and, you know, he'd probably be a guy that you would consider dangerous at the plate if he plays once a week. Yeah. And, you know, you make a mistake to him, he could hit in the seats.
I was thinking more of staying out of the double play.
Mm-hmm.
Paying a lot of attention to Cabrera.
Yeah, I noticed some other teams do that, and they must, the scouting report must say that Melky's a real speed, but I mean, he's got, I think maybe average, just not even above average speed. I don't consider him a real base stealing threat, not that he won't pick up one once in a while.
Foul back.
He's stolen 8, been caught twice. His percentage good.
A long look across the diamond. You know, it's a somewhat curious sartorial choice by the equipment manager of the Blue Jays. Yeah, it's 110 on the field. Let's go with the black tops.
Is that who picks those?
Yeah.
Wow. They have tank tops?
I don't think so, but they do have grays. Count 2-2.
Maybe it's like Tiger Woods wearing the red on Sunday. They wear black on getaway day.
Could be.
Last day.
Joe Torre usually wears the pullover. Does not go that route today. Wearing the home white Yankee pinstripes. But Carl Pavano hanging in there with the windbreaker. Now Gary Sheffield is wearing fleece. Another curious choice. Runner goes. Swung on a miss. Throw to second is in time. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play. Let's take a look at the low jack caught stealing.
Well, Melky takes off here, but you want to make sure that Markham goes to home plate so he doesn't get the best jump in the world. And Greg Zahn comes up with a nice throw right on the money. Joe Torre banking on Sal Fasano, putting that ball in play or drawing a walk. A great throw by Zahn.
Here's Nick Green. Nick is 7 for his last 16. Pitches outside. What's a better feeling for a catcher, getting a hit or throwing out a runner?
I don't know. I didn't get how do I want to answer this? I didn't get too many hits, so now throwing out the runner is you know, it's a great feeling. But to tell you the truth, I took more pride in blocking balls in the dirt. That was one of those stats that kind of goes unrecognized, and you know, you feel good about what you did for your staff. And you know, like we talked about with throwing runners out, it's a crapshoot as far as if a pitcher gives you a chance, and it feels good when it happens.
1-1.
Yeah, I always thought for all the numbers we have in the game, and some of them are meaningless, that is one that could be a good stat for catchers. If if you block a ball and prevent runners from advancing, there's some kind of system like that that's as important as a guy in the infield making a good play.
And Nick Green goes down on strikes for the final out of the second inning. So the caught stealing helps Markham pitch to the minimum 3 batters. No runs a hit and nobody left. Let's go to the third here at the stadium. Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays nothing. We go to the third inning and the Yankees are leading 3-0 on the Coors Light scoreboard. 3-3-0, beating 0-1-0. Ryan Roberts steps in. 279 hitter in Syracuse, 9 homers, 47 ribbies. And there's a strike. Congratulations to Jessica.
I guess we interpret that as Corey Lidle's first game as a Yankee, and it's Jessica's first game at Yankee Stadium. Took me a little while to figure that out. Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Yankees are getting a nice break here in terms of time of possession is one thing you don't want in baseball. And Lidle is getting out there throwing strikes, and I guarantee you Vernon Wells and some of those guys are going to Sean Markham and say, would you please get, I mean, our feet are burning out there in the field.
Here's Reed Johnson, singled, or should I say he grounded back to the mound in the first inning. 347. This is his breakout season. Talking to John Gibbons and Brian Butterfield before the game, and they said that in their opinion Reed Johnson is the best defensive left fielder in baseball.
Really? Wow.
They said when Matsui's healthy a couple of years ago, he probably was as good as Reed Johnson. He said, but Reed Johnson's better than anybody, at least in the American League. And Brian Butterfield said we don't see enough in the National League, but definitely the best in the American League.
Yeah, Hideki was his first year, I think, was his best year. That's a great compliment.
Reed Johnson's an aggressive hitter, but he's also an aggressive outfielder.
And he gets plunked.
We saw that the other night with Bernie Williams with that double. He had that nice try or attempt with a dive to left center.
It's like a little splitter or sinker that it might have slipped out.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that Bernie double. And that's the 16th time that Reed Johnson's been hit, which leads the American League. Jason Giambi is third with 11. That's what brought on the conversation. I said, did Reed Johnson take a good journey to the ball there? And Bernie Williams double. And they said, oh, that was the only journey to take. And then they both started to talk about how he's the best left fielder in the game.
Again, there's one of those subtle little things in the game of baseball, I think, because there's, nooks and crannies in the field. So many different things happen. It's not a linear game like hockey, basketball, football. And talking about left fielders reminds me how important that can be. Our 1982 Cardinal team, Lonnie Smith played left field. Lonnie was never known as a Gold Glover. But like Whitey Herzog pointed out that year, balls hit down the corner, he got to and cut off and turned more doubles into singles. And then we had Ozzie Smith and Tommy Hearn. All of a sudden you turn it into a double play. That's how important a guy in left field can be.
The 1-0. There's a strike. Home plate up today is Larry Poncino. Ed Hickok's at first, Gary Darling at second, and Bruce Dreckman is at third. That is a tough umpiring job on a day like this. A lot of equipment, mask, and you're on every play. The 1-1. Chain speeds, and Catalanato way out in front pops it up. Bobby Abreu makes the play. 2 outs. Hey, let's take a look now at the J&R Music and Computer World upcoming schedule. After the game, the Yankees head to Baltimore. 3 games against the O's. Tomorrow on Yes at 7. Pregame shows at 6:30. Saturday on Yes at 4:30. Pregame show is at 4. And then Sunday, also on Yes, a 1:30 start. 1 o'clock is the pregame show. And then we have a batting practice show on Sunday as well. And that will start at 12:30. And these are the probable starters for the series. Johnson against Chen. Bruce still looking for his first win. Messina against Lowen. And then Wright against Lopez, who's really been pitching very well of late. And that tells you how bad a start he's had since his ERA is 6.20. Vernon Wells with a high fly ball center field. Johnny Damon coming in, settling underneath, and putting it away for the final out of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the third inning here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees 3, Blue Jays nothing, and you are watching, yes, hopefully an air-conditioned room. We go to the bottom of the third inning here at Yankee Stadium. Between innings, Sal Fasano and Corey Lidle standing in front of the people mister, that's what that's called, and talking things over. So far, so good for them. 3 shutout innings for Lidle in his first Yankee start. And the first pitch to Johnny Damon is low. On the Coors Light scoreboard, it's 3-0 Yankees. Top of the order, Damon, Jeter, and Abreu.
Looking at Lidle and Fasano, John, different pitchers, different mindsets. Some you can talk to between innings, others you just see after the game.
That's exactly right. And like I said before, one of the benefits of Sal Fasano catching Corey Lidle in Philadelphia, he knows what he likes to do, and obviously he likes to talk a lot in between innings with his receiver.
Who was your most talkative pitcher in your whole career?
Kenny Sturtz actually liked to talk a lot. When he was a starter with Tampa Bay and we worked together, he liked to talk a lot in between innings. And
chop to short. Hill gets Damon. Well, then I have to lead to the next question. Who was the least talkative pitcher?
Mike Mussina.
Didn't want to talk
Moose, there wasn't a whole lot of talking, and you kind of follow Moose's lead. So, you know, if he wanted to have a conversation, he would call you in the clubhouse or something like that. But when he was working and he was into his game, you didn't want to get him out of that rhythm mentally.
One away here in the third. Here's Derek Jeter, extended his hitting streak to 12 straight with a single in the first inning and later scored on Giambi's home run. You know, you look at Jeter's numbers there, 358 now, 8 home runs and 67 ribbies. And you've got to mention him in any MVP conversation. He is having that sort of season.
Funny you bring that up because Doug Lyons, a great Yankee fan, Jeffrey Lyons' brother, they follow the Yankees. Of course, Jeffrey's a Red Sox guy, but they follow the games, and he sent me an email. I didn't realize this. Thurman Munson is the only Yankee to have won a Rookie of the Year and an MVP. Jeter would fall into that. He would fall into that category if he were able to do it.
He's done such a great job in the field. This is his signature play in the field, and he's getting big hits. He has a high on-base percentage, and you know you'd have to mention him as a Gold Glove. That obviously, and an MVP candidate, and he's making an assault on a batting title as well. Jeter is all about team goals, but I'm sure he would like to hang an MVP in his house. And ironically enough, he might have to battle David Ortiz for it, just like Alex Rodriguez did last year.
Position players would never agree. I don't expect him to, but there's no question in my mind the most valuable player in the Yankees, and he has been for some time, is he'll go out to the bullpen about the 4th inning. Number 42.
It really is amazing if you consider how great Mariano has been every year since the end of '95. He's never won a Cy Young, never won an MVP, and there are many years that in '96 he should have won the Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Last year he should have been considered a bit more than he was. Grounded to third. Gloss backs up, fires, but Overbay, who's got a pretty good glove, could not come up with a backhand scoop, so Jeter reaches. We'll see how they score that. Howie Carbon is the official scorer.
Gloss got to it, but it looked like his footwork right there as he turns and makes sort of a casual throw, and he's going to have to get rid of it a little quicker and be a little more accurate with it.
I think he should have probably got a little more weight on this back leg right there.
Right.
You know, if he does that, he's going to have a little bit more on the throw, a little bit more carry, and Overbay just couldn't come up with it.
And they do give an error to Troy Gloss in the crowd with a murmur of boos. And he makes an error on his 30th birthday, Troy Gloss. Here's Bobby Abreu.
the MVP talk, and I mentioned I was in Cooperstown last weekend for the induction of Bruce Sutter, who was the most dominant relief pitcher in the late 70s, early 80s for a period of time. And Bud Selig, the commissioner, read his plaque and got down to the last line when one of the other accomplishments of Bruce was help the St. Louis Cardinals win the 1982 World Series. And he said, I cringe a little when I say that, this Bud Selig, because this will tell you how valuable they are. Raleigh Fingers had a great year that year, but he was not healthy in the World Series. Had he been healthy, I don't know if we would have beaten the Brewers. And it just, again, we were talking, there are no more important players on your team than the guys that come in and get the last few outs.
1-1. Popped up foul, out of play. Brian Talent warming here in the third inning. Matt Markham has 55 pitches already.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if a Yankee hitter hits one in the gap here. What kind of jump? You got Rios, Wells, Johnson, all good outfielders, but I mean, they're just standing out there one leg to another. And we talked last night what an advantage having a Chin Ming Wong is, because it keeps everybody on their toes. These guys are on their heels.
Some on one heel.
Yeah.
Sean Markham sets. And the 1-2. Served into left field. Nice piece of hitting, a base hit for Bobby Abreu as Jeter advances to second.
Abreu's shown the ability to go deep into the count, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, and here takes a pitch off the plate. Able to flip it out to left field for a base hit, and you know the error proves costly now with the hot Alex Rodriguez coming up with 2 men up.
Brad Arnsberg to the mound. You would anticipate if he doesn't retire A-Rod or get a double play, it'll be Talent against Giambi. Another reason I think Jason will love that 5-hole is all the pitches that a pitcher has to, that he threw to Damon and Jeter and Abreu, and all of a sudden you come up and the guy's throwing 25-6 pitches in an inning. He's pretty vulnerable.
Well, Brad Arnsberg has his conversation. And you might wonder, well, why is he warming up Talent in the third? The Blue Jays have to start winning some games, and they can't let this one get out of hand. The way Lidle's pitching right now, and they know Lidle very well. He was here with the Blue Jays. Maybe they think, hey, if we don't keep it at 3-0, we don't have much of a chance. So we'll start to mix and match here in the third. There's the Blue Jay manager, John Gibbons. Here's A-Rod. He walked in, scored on Giambi's home run in the first. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. .298 hitter with runners in scoring position. 59 of his 78 RBIs in these situations.
Talked about Markham having a good slider. You can see he's a little bit more comfortable with right-handed hitters, able to strike out Nick Green, and some of the swings that we've seen off his slider from the right-handers doesn't look like they're seeing it too well.
That's why I thought back in that first inning, Markham, he doesn't know the hitters as well yet, but the book on Craig Wilson, he's playing against a right-hander today, but he's vulnerable to that sweeping breaking ball. I think the Yankees just going to play him some games here to find out exactly what they have.
Sure.
You know, he's got some power.
One missed inside, 2-1. Sal Fasano just chilling. And Corey Lidle is down that tunnel talking with Fasano. Ground ball up the middle, grabbed there by Hill. Flips the second one, that's all they get. As Abreu went in hard. That's a nice play by Hill, took away a base hit and an RBI.
He said he's moved all over the infield with second base to shortstop. This is a nice play right here. If he's able to get the ball out of the glove a little bit quicker, he's got a chance for two. But like you said, Michael, Bobby Abreu going in there hard. Just has trouble getting it out of his glove on the exchange.
And John Gibbons doesn't want to mess with anything more than a 3-0 deficit, so he takes the ball from Markham, and he's going to call on the lefty Brian Tallett to face Jason Giambi. Giambi with a 3-run home run in the first. He has 2 runners on here now when he comes up. McDonald's dollar menu. And he calls on the left-hander Brian Tallett, and Sean Markham's day is over. So he wants the lefty to counteract the lefty swinging Giambi, and you see Tallett's numbers. This will be his 28th game. Too many walks, less than a hit per inning. Count 1-0. Giambi connected for his 31st home run of the year in the first inning. And those are the 3 runs that Markham is allowed. 2 2/3, 4 hits. The 2 runners on base are his responsibility. Giambi now with 84 runs batted in. Nice stop there by Zahn.
Well, John called it at the start of the game with Sean Markham against his Yankee lineup. You don't throw strikes and get ahead. It's going to be an early exit. Lenny Green, former outfielder teammate of mine, and nights, days like today when I'd come in, he'd say, "Hey kid, don't use all the hot water." You know you're going to the shower early.
Breaking ball, no bite, 3-0. So he brings in Tallett, and he immediately goes 3-0.
Man, and they have nobody warming up, and Wilson on deck, who really hits well against left-hand pitching. A little surprising to see a breaking ball there.
See if Giambi is green lighted. We'll never know.
Another one.
So he walks him on 4 pitches to load the bases.
Well, that's the type of pitcher he is. You know, he's not a hard thrower. He likes to throw his slider as a sweeper, but just couldn't get it over the plate right there.
Now here's Craig Wilson, who has great numbers against lefties. Jeter, A-Rod, and Giambi. And Wilson was asked the day he reported on Tuesday if he felt more comfortable against lefties. He says, no, I feel way more comfortable against righty pitchers, but for some reason the numbers are better against lefties. 315 against left-handers, 246 against righties. There's that off-speed pitch, swung and missed.
And that swing is probably a reason why he said that. I played with Hall of Famer Harmon Killebrew. He felt the same way. If you're a pull hitter, that pitch going down and away from a lefty, if lefties can throw it there, he can handle Wilson as well as a righty, maybe better.
High pop-up, right side. And that'll make the seats out of play.
Sometimes you just see the ball better out of a lefty's hand, and the thought of that breaking ball coming into you as opposed to going away from you that a righty would do. Feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yankees got Wilson from the Pirates in exchange for Sean Chacon. And the 0-2. 1-2. Flew out to right field in the first inning. Had 2 hits yesterday, his first Yankee start, so Joe Torre going back-to-back with him. Nice catch by a fan in the first row of the upper deck, first base side. and believe her good fortune. And the 1-2. 2-2. No place to put Wilson. The bases are loaded. Yankees are up 3-0. We're in the bottom of the third.
Well, you would think this would be the pitch that Tyler would want to get him on here right now and stay away from the full count where the runners will be in motion. Fred Wilson look for a ball over the plate and do some damage.
And now it's 3-2.
Boy, you get talent is a perfect example of a pitcher who really doesn't have the power stuff to get a hitter out. He's just hoping that the hitter will get himself out if he keeps tantalizing. But he's pitching against a lineup here that doesn't chase many of those pitches.
Bases loaded with the Yankees. 2 outs. They'll all be going on the 3-2. And they'll do it again.
Actually, if that radar gun reading is right, that surprises me even more with Giambi. I mean, his fastball is 92. He threw him 4 breaking balls that weren't even close.
Runners go again, the 3-2. Well, he wins the battle. A high fly ball to Alex Rios. And Rios puts it away for the final out of the third. Yankees, no runs, a hit, 1 error, and the bases are left loaded. We go to the fourth. 3-0 Yankees. 8th of 97 for the New York Mets against the Houston Astros. To whom did he give up his first hit? We'll find that out in the bottom of the 4th inning. So the clue is it's somebody from the Astros.
That helps.
Here's Troy Glaus. So Corey is used to pitching in New York, but he admitted on Tuesday, he said, you know, there seems to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency about winning here than there was there. So he's
really?
got that right.
Yeah, every game is game 7 here.
Count 1-1. It'll be Glaus, Overbay, and Rios.
Game 7 of the World Series, and actually I say that's a good thing, because you know, I don't know how many players over the course of time, it gets to about that 130 game mark, you know, and it's so easy if your team's not in contention or whatever to just get mentally up every day, and you can't help but do that here with the pennant race and the people.
That's 100% right, and coming from a situation in Philly where maybe the team is struggling a little bit. I know in Tampa Bay, the team I was previously with before the Yankees, you know, once you come here and every game is important, your intensity level just gets that much higher. And Corey talked about it. He's looking forward to that challenge, and got to admire a guy who faces it head on and is ready for the challenge.
Swing and a miss, and Troy Glaus goes down on strikes. Here's a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now at a great low price. Randy Johnson will get the start for the Yanks, 11-9, 5.07, and he goes up against Bruce Chen. Bruce Chen really having an awful year. Last year he seemed like he found himself. 0-6, he's lost himself now, 7.07, and the coverage begins at 6:30 with our pregame, 7 o'clock from Camden Yards with the first pitch.
Good curveball, or was it curve or slider?
I think that might have been maybe a split. You know, I talked to Sal before the game, and he said he throws a changeup and a split, and he said, you know, usually the split finger is more with 2 strikes, trying to get a swing and a miss. But I've noticed, Jim, Corey's going to a little bit more off-speed pitches this time around. Second time around the order. First time it was 2-seam fastball, and this time it looks like he's changing it up a little bit.
The 1-0, grounded to short. Jeter. 2 away here in the 4th.
Well, you mentioned in the open that he's got about 6 pitches, because he can change speeds and probably makes it break a little down and in, down and away.
I was amazed when Sal told me how many pitches he had. It was incredible. Here you see the 2-seam fastball away. But he talked about a curveball that he throws hard, a curveball he throws slower. He's got a changeup that he'll throw when he's behind in the count, a split when he throws when he wants a strikeout, straight fastball, cut fastball, sinking fastball, and he said good luck getting them all in the game.
Now, when you're a catcher and he's got a curveball then a slower one, do you have a separate sign for the slower curveball?
No, you always expect the harder one.
Okay.
And then if the slow one comes in, it's easier to handle.
So it's his call which curveball he wants to throw.
Yeah, you want to give that pitcher that flexibility to kind of do what he wants to do out there. You don't want to predetermine the speed or anything like that. And you know, as long as you know it's a curveball and you know where the mistake will be, which will be down and away to a right-handed hitter, it's in the dirt.
Swing and a miss. Strong inning for Corey Lidle as he strikes out 2 and retires the side in order. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees 3, Blue Jays nothing. You're watching the Yankees right here on the Yes Network. A catcher's dream. Watch Sal Fasano. He'll say exactly where he wants the ball, low and inside. And let's see where Corey Lidle throws it. How about that?
Right where he wants it.
Cabrera fouls it away.
That's why I think the Yankee pitchers are really going to enjoy pitching to Sal Fasano. A lot of the young guys, the Scott Proctors, who were in Columbus when Sal was there, they raved about him behind the plate and the job he does with the pitching staff. You see evidence of it right there.
3-0 Yankees lead. You know, it's very obvious, and I'm sure you see this too, Jim. The Yankees are searching and searching to replace Flaherty. It has not been easy.
That's right.
Kelly Stinnett gave it a shot. Now it's Sal Fasano.
About to live up to.
It's a huge amount.
You know, and I saw that shot of Sal Fasano putting his glove down. I know you did that to Randy Johnson, you know, down and in. Did you find that most of the time pitchers will throw the ball higher than you want them to? Man, that's why you put your glove on the ground, because if you put it knee high, they're apt to throw it thigh high.
I just felt like I would give them something to actually look at, give them a visual. This is where I want it. And I just felt like with Randy, he needed to see that. He needed to see where the pitch needed to end up.
And I asked that question because I was taught that way, like by Eddie Lopez. He said, you know, where the catcher's target is, when that ball is going across the plate, that's 5 feet farther toward the pitcher. So that's why you want to try to throw it lower than you really think you should, lower than low.
The 2-2. Count 3-2 from Tellett.
You know, and some guys that you work with, they don't want you to do those types of things. You know, so I've had pitchers tell me, I throw at your mask. I don't even look at your glove, or I throw at your shin guard. I don't look at the glove. It's just whatever the preference is of that pitcher.
3-2.
You know, I have to confess, I was that type of pitcher. It's probably why I gave up about 4,700 hits. but if you're a pitcher that depends on movement, sometimes you don't want the catcher sitting on the corner. I know Maddox likes that, but if you're sitting on the corner, then the ball's going to have some movement. Oftentimes it misses the plate.
The 3-2. Good at bat for Cabrera. Still 3-2.
We mentioned this last night, what a good, for a young hitter, what a good 2-strike hitter Melky is. And I think that double he got last night was a 1-2 count.
Single in the second was caught stealing, the 3-2. And keeps fouling off tough pitches. Melky's put together a pretty nice first full season. 279, 4 home runs, 32 ribbies. Not even a full season. Called up after the injuries. But his first extended run in the big leagues, the 3-2. And he worked the walk. 9-pitch at bat. Let's take a look now at the answer to the Aflac trivia question. The question is about Corey Lidle. He made his debut on May 8th of '97 for the Mets against the Astros. To whom did he give up his first hit? And the answer is Bobby Abreu. We tie it all together.
I had even forgotten that he was with the Astros.
Spent a brief time with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Yeah.
Traded for Kevin Stocker.
Good deal by the Rays.
It didn't quite work out the way they had hoped.
Remember, Stalker really was a well thought out player. They thought he was going to be something else. Shortstop.
Brian, this is an accident waiting to happen. I mean, he's just searching for a way to find a corner and get somebody to swing at it. And again, now Vernon Wells is he's catching the sights out there in center field. It's really getting boring for those outfielders.
You wear the glasses, you could take a little nap. Nobody would even notice.
See, Lou Piniella might like days like this because he'd be out there working on a stroke.
Who was he just talking to?
Yeah, he was talking to the left-hander on the mound.
Yes, he was.
I guarantee he was.
Foul back.
The player strike of 1981 lasted, I think, 51 days, and when it was settled, we had about a week to play some, inter-squad games and get ready to play again. And so in St. Louis, the inter-squad games, we'd have the pitchers play out in the outfield. And I was playing left field one day. Mark Littell was over in center, vice versa, I think. And fastball there, and I looked, I said, Country, now you know why the position players want us to work fast and throw strikes. He's out there with his arms crossed and hoping they'll throw it over the plate. That's what outfielders go through.
Now, is it beyond their responsibility for a guy like Vernon Wells to come in and say to Talent, hey, throw strikes and get it quickly?
They shouldn't have to do that. I mean, he's so tied up right now in the runner at first base. I don't think it's going through his mind how important that is to, not work overly fast, but.
The outfielders must have loved you.
There's so much emphasis on scouting reports that I think sometimes pitchers and players forget to just play to the scoreboard and to the rhythm of the game. I mean, you're out there today and you're saying, wow, let's get a little energy going. I mean, the pitcher, as Corey Lidle is doing, he sets the tone, and Talent is putting his players to sleep.
Swing and a miss. He gets Fasano, who was struck out twice today for the first out of the inning.
A little better fastball than I thought he had. He's getting running up there pretty good, 92 miles an hour, and Sal just swung through it.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised that he throws so many off-speed pitches, because it looks like he has a better fastball than he thinks he does.
He's probably gotten beaten on it a few times, get a little gun shy and start going to something else, and next thing you know, you don't have anything to get anybody out.
Here's Nick Green. Pitch out. They are really preoccupied with Cabrera. It's as if he's Lou Brock all of a sudden. Even when he was on in the second inning.
I always thought that if you are going to hit and run, this is a good count to do it on. And then from a pitcher's standpoint, you pitch out. They didn't do it. You're out there saying, well, you don't pitch out back to back. Now would be a good time to throw to first base instead of the other times.
And Nick Green handles the bat well at the plate.
Breaking ball strike. Count 1-1. Brandon Lee, he of the 98-mile-an-hour fastball, warm for the Jays. John Gibbons has gone to his bullpen more than any other manager in baseball. A lot of good arms out there, and he has 3 left-handers, including a left-handed closer. Fly ball down the right field line. Rios toward the line. Can't make the play, ran out of room. The little guy made the play.
I think he made one down this area the other day that fan just missed, but once it's over that barrier, it's a fair game for the fan.
1-2. Foul back. Yankees have had messages from all the players on the scoreboard throughout the game, and it's a smart thing reminding everybody here at the stadium to stay hydrated, and they've actually gone a little bit further than that. All the water at the stadium today is being given away free. They're not selling water, they're giving it away free. High fly ball, left center field, and Vernon Wells will make the play for the second out. And they also have hydration stations around the ballpark if anybody feels that they're getting dehydrated. And here at the ballpark, they're also shutting down electricity in a lot of the offices, shutting off lights, trying to conserve energy, which is what the mayor of New York City is asking everybody to do, because you do not want to overwork the electrical grid, which might cause shutdowns. Here's Johnny Damon.
They talked about the stolen bases and Melky Cabrera. This might be a chance where he might try and steal one. You know, worst case scenario, you get thrown out. You have Johnny Damon leading off the next inning, and really nothing to lose.
Grounded foul.
We're getting back to the pace of play. Have you done that as a catcher? So you don't want to disrupt a pitcher's, get him out of his rhythm, but the kind of game you'd go out there and say, hey, let's pick up the pace a little. Let's get a little energy going.
Steve Traxel caught him in Tampa Bay. He worked very, very slow, and you know, Trax is one of those guys. He didn't realize how slow he was working. He's gotten better over the years now. He doesn't have that reputation anymore.
And he's having a good year.
He certainly is.
Well, he was painfully slow. He would put you to sleep. He's still pretty slow, but that shows you how slow he was.
If pitchers, and they should because they're in the clubhouse with them, but boy, if pitchers realized how position players appreciate, you know, you don't just get up there, throw it over the plate, 1-2, but get a little pace going, keep them on their toes, and you get better plays behind you.
Now, what causes the slowdown? Do you think that pitchers are just thinking too much, or they're collecting themselves?
I think it's thinking too much. In Steve Traxel's case, you would put down a sign, and he would actually take 3 or 4 seconds to think about the sign and then come up in his delivery to start his motion and then deliver the pitch. I mean, it was just painfully slow. You know, most pitchers get the sign, they come upset, and they deliver it. Trax thought a lot about what he was doing.
The 2-2, way outside, 3-2. Three-0 Yankees on the strength of a 3-run home run by Jason Giambi in the first. Corey Lidle has given up just 1 hit to the Blue Jays, and he strung 4 zeros up on the board. Runner goes, 3-2. There's grounded foul. Damon has popped to third and grounded to short in his 2 at-bats. Runner goes again, the 3-2. High fly ball, right center. Rios and Wells. Wells with the call, Wells with the catch for the final out of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the leadoff walk is left on. We go to the 5th, 3-0, Yankees on yes.
Taking on the Braves, and Sean Chacon in his debut for the Buccos. Top of the 5th. He's got a 2-1 lead. Gets Andrew Jones to fly out to left to end the inning. Right now it's 3-2 Pirates, top half of the 8th. Chacon goes 5, gives up just 1 run on 3 hits, and walked 4. He's still in line for the win. Michael?
What a difference between the American League and the National League. We go to the top of the 5th inning here at the stadium, and the Yankees lead the Jays 3-0 on the Chevy scoreboard, 3-4-0 to 0-1-1. Zahn, Hill, and Roberts. And Lidle deals. Now, most pitchers that go from the National League to the American League seem like they struggle a bit. Now, Corey Lidle is going from the National League to the American League, but he has American League experience and knows what it's all about, how different a league it is. But if I was a pitcher, I think I'd want to go American League to National. Look what Roger Clemens has done and Pedro Martinez. And they probably would be successful in any league, but one less hitter in the National League. There's the strike. On a fly ball to left center, and Johnny Damon's there, one away. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Red Sox kept pace with the Yankees yesterday with another walk-off hit against Fausto Carmona of the Indians, this one by Mark Loretta. And the Red Sox playing without Trot Nixon and Jason Varitek. Varitek's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. And I would think, you spent about 2 weeks in spring training with them, John, that of all the players they have, obviously they need Poppy and Manny Ramirez. Jason Varitek is kind of the heart and soul of that team. That's a big loss for them.
Well, I think especially the pitching staff is going to feel the pain of that injury. And, you know, like you said, everything that he does for that team on and off the field.
Alex Rodriguez short hopped that ball on Hill and then fired across the diamond. Third base umpire Dreckman said he didn't catch it on the fly. And he was right.
Nice pick on the short hop. Plenty of time. Strong throw.
I really like what I'm seeing from Corey Lidle here. The ability to drop in a curveball there, a changeup, a split. A lot of different looks, different speeds. Don't have to be perfect.
Ryan Roberts with a deep fly ball. Left center field, giving chase is Cabrera. On the track, at the wall. See ya. Ryan Roberts, his first big league hit is a home run. And he puts the Blue Jays on the board. Yankees now lead 3-1.
Won't forget that one, will he?
Your first hit's a home run in Yankee Stadium. Big smile on his face. You're right, Kitty. You won't forget that one.
What a way to break in. So in his fourth at bat in the big leagues, he goes yard.
They give rookies a silent treatment anymore? Is that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And that, for those of you not familiar with it, sometimes when a rookie does this, first home run, comes back to dugout, all pumped up to shake hands. Everybody's sitting there looking at the field like, what happened?
First pitch fastball and jumped all over it.
Count 1-1 to Reed Johnson. They'll obviously be able to get him that ball. It landed in either the Yankee bullpen or Monument Park. And another base hit. This one by Reed Johnson down the left field line. Melky Cabrera fields. Johnson's going for 2. Here's the throw. In there with a double.
Well, you earn those by running hard out of the box.
Yeah, we talked about him being an aggressive outfielder, aggressive base running right here. Melky came up with a strong throw. It looked like it was just off line a little bit.
You know, and you showed the line score, the Chevy line score before the half inning started. That's what was kind of you look 3-0. I mean, because Lidle's gotten them out so easy, it seemed like the Yankees were up by 10. Now all of a sudden you're looking at the tying run in Catalinato.
Catalinato's 0 for 2. He's 0 for his last 8. Catalinato grew up on Smithtown, Long Island. And despite being Long Islanders, and that's closer to Queens, his family big-time Yankee fans. was talking about yesterday was the 27th anniversary of the untimely death of Thurman Munson. He was 5 years old at that time. He said he still remembers it like it was yesterday because his father heard the news and they both ran in to turn the TV on and watch. He said, and his father was just devastated.
As we all were. Getting sticky now. I mean, that's the thing about the game of baseball, the ebb and flow. I mean, Yankees had a chance with just one hit to kind of give Lidle a little comfort level. And all of a sudden you start to squirm a little bit because Catalinato gets on. You got Vernon Wells.
See if they green light Catalinato. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Didn't throw right over the middle of the plate on 3-0.
One of the downfalls you could talk about, Corey, if there are many. I mean, he's a quality major league pitcher, obviously, with a lot of good stuff. But sometimes Jimmy has a tendency to nibble, you know, throw the ball off the plate, not challenge the hitters as much as some of his teammates would like.
And Catalinato walks. You don't want to walk the guy in front of Vernon Wells, but that's what Lidle just did.
He's asking Poncina, was it low or was it inside? Well, it wasn't low. Here's where you see Fasano catch it. No, that's a good strike. He got that one taken away from him, because where you see Fasano catch it, that ball's going over the plate 6 feet before that.
Now, do you think sometimes the umpire will call a ball if it's not a ball because the catcher is reaching across? He obviously missed the mark, but it was a strike.
There's sometimes that definitely happens. That ball looked like it had a lot of plate on it.
There's Vernon Wells. Jeter gobbles it up, and all for naught. No problem with the missed call as Vernon Wells grounds out. But Jays get a run on 2 hits. 2 men left at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through. 3-1 Yanks. Today. Yankees trying to stay cool in that dugout. There's a fan there that blows a cool mist at you if you stand right in front of it, and that's the haze that you see in your picture. And it seems to be getting a little bit hotter here in New York City. Got a little stickier for the Yankees in the top of the 5th, but Lidle worked out of further trouble. And we will go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-1 Yankees lead on the Chevy scoreboard. 3-4-0, beating 1-3-1. And they'll face a new pitcher. It's Brandon League. League will face Jeter, Abreu, and A-Rod. There's League's numbers.
Dial it up a little bit against League, right, John?
He's a hard thrower, a little 3/4 delivery with a little bit of movement. Good slider and a split that he's working on, but he's coming in there throwing hard.
Kind of slingshots the ball up there. The count 1-1.
Nice high leg kick.
The 3/4 right there.
Slings it as Michael sit out of that 3/4 zone, which would make it a little tougher on right-hand hitters. I think that's what helped Jose Contreras when he went to the White Sox. He dropped his arm angle down just a little bit, got some more movement on the pitch.
Some more movement and a little more deception. Well, he was a guy that you threw hard, but you saw the ball real well off him.
Well, you can see why John Gibbons has gone to his bullpen more than any other time. I mean, it was fashionable to pick the Blue Jays, Justin Spire getting ready, in the offseason to really contend. But if you see guys coming out of that bullpen, they don't throw enough strikes.
And Jeter with a leadoff walk here in the 5th. Hey, Wednesday, August 16th on Yes. Tune in for the premiere of Yankeeography 1996. The 8-time Emmy-winning series looks at the storied 96 season. Won a new manager, a rookie shortstop, and an amazing will to win ushered in the modern-day Yankees dynasty. John Sterling hosts Yankeeography 1996, premiering Wednesday, August 16th at 11, only on Yes. Wade Boggs and his famous ride around the outfield on the police horse. And that was some year. They won the championship. They won 4 out of the next 5 years, when you include that one. Here's Bobby Abreu. And a strike. With the Yankees, a 300 hitter. With the Phillies, 277, 8 home runs, 65 ribbies. Yet to pick up his first ribby with the Yanks. Flirted with a home run in the first inning, but didn't get all of it off the end of the bat. A deep drive to right center. Single to left his other time up. The 0-1. Upstairs, 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2.
Saw that close-up. Bobby Abreu really cradles that top hand. He's just kind of got the bat laying in the crotch of the thumb and index finger, which would help a hitter generate a little more bat speed.
You know, I know Bobby, I don't know if he still does, but he used to use one of the heaviest bats that I'd ever felt at the major league level, probably 35, 36 ounces. And like you said, Kitty just kind of has it in his fingertips there, and just get that bat head moving in the right direction, and the bat will do the rest of the work for you.
Count 2-2.
There's a great DVD that the legendary Bob Wolf did with interviews back. Actually, it was at the park that I broke in Griffith Stadium with Ted Williams and Mickey and Whitey and Yogi. And it's interesting as they're all uncut, really good stuff to watch. And, you know, you didn't have 2-3 cameras, but the point I'm making is amazing to hear the hitters talk about the kind of bat they used. Because Bob says, well, Mickey, what kind of bat? Well, you know, I've been using about a 38-ouncer, 37. Sometimes I'll go to 36. And nowadays, if you ask players, they say, well, I'm using the 31. Nick Swisher came in here with the A's, had a 29.5-ounce bat.
A couple of schools of thought there. You know, I mean, I tried a heavier bat a few years in my career, just trying maybe to cut down on my swing and just let the bat do the work. And, you know, I know a lot of guys like Alex, they like a lighter bat where they create bat speed, and it's what you feel comfortable with.
Grounded through the right side for a base hit. Jeter will stop at second as Rios comes up throwing, and the Yankees are set up here in the fifth. First and second, nobody out. Abreu's 2 for 3.
We'll talk about just putting the bat on the ball. That's all Bobby does. Pitch down in the strike zone. Just kind of watching the ball hit the bat, and with Jeter at first, opens up the hole for a ground ball single.
Here's A-Rod. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. The walk in the first inning, scored on Giambi's home run. Then a nice play by Hill up the middle on a ground ball, a 6-4 force. That came in the third. A strike from League, and the count 0-1. Missed with a breaking ball. The count 1-1.
You're talking about bat weights. And Alex Rodriguez in the lighter bat. That's why it is. And I was talking to Randy Johnson about this before the game. That's why it's so much more difficult to pitch today than it was back in the days when guys used heavier bats. Because now that pitch low and away, strong guys, light bats, they rifle that thing out of the ballpark, the opposite field.
Count 2-1.
In fact, last night, the highlights of that Red Sox, I think I saw the hardest home run that I've ever seen hit in Fenway Park. Willie Mo Pena. It cleared the monster by about 6 inches. I think it bounced halfway back to the infield off those monster seats.
Two-1. And a strike, and the count 2-2.
Little three-quarter delivery is helping League right here. because you can almost tell Alex not getting quite as good a look at it. And he's been able to throw it on the outside corner so far.
And he's worked the count full to 3-2.
See the Blue Jay, every pitcher that comes in is very robotic. You'll see him walk around the mound, take a lot of time, like there's a lot of indecision as to what they want to do. Not quite the confidence or trusting their stuff like more veteran pitchers would. Got John Gibbons shaking his head.
Grounded softly. League fields, fires to first, and it gets past Overbay, and it bounces into foul territory. Jeter will score. Abreu moves to third. Alex Rodriguez to second, and the Yankees lead 4-1.
Nice break there for the Yankees. You saw how Chin-Ming Wang fielded his position last night, but check out Brandon League. No footwork. He never gets his feet set. He's leaning way back, throws against his body, and Overbay didn't do a very good job of at least blocking it. But if he takes that little crow hop that you practice in spring training, he's got a shot to make an accurate throw and get him.
That's an E1 all the way. Obviously no RBI for A-Rod. And here's Giambi. He'll be intentionally walked. And that makes sense. First base is open.
Well, I'll tell you, even though League throws hard, Craig Wilson's got to be relishing this matchup. We talked about how he feels more comfortable against righties than the soft lefties throwing down and away. And boy, middle of the plate in, he's quick, and he's a pull hitter. So this is a good matchup for Wilson.
So bases loaded with the Yankees. Abreu, A-Rod, and Giambi. Wilson was up earlier with the bases loaded and flied out to right field. That was in the third inning. This time there's nobody out. That time there were 2 outs. There's a strike. Okay. 4-1 Yankees lead, looking for more in the bottom of the 5th. Swing and a miss, and the count 0-2. Melky Cabrera's on deck.
That was a pitch he probably had to drive right there, took a shot at, and now you just try and shorten up and put it in play.
Swing and a miss, so he strikes out Wilson on 3 pitches.
Yeah, it was the pitch before that he had a chance. That's the word, the book on Craig Wilson. If you've got a sweeping slider from a right-hand pitcher,
and here's Melky Cabrera. Melky singled to center in the second, later caught stealing, then walked in the 4th. Melky, a .308 hitter this year with the bases loaded, 4 for 13, 9 ribbies. And that just got a little bit higher as he lines one off the glove of Aaron Hill into left field for a single. Abreu scores. Yankees lead 5-1 on the RBI single by Melky Cabrera.
Melky does a nice job of picking up Craig Wilson right here, picking up your teammate. First pitch fastball down the middle, able to stay inside just over the glove of Aaron Hill.
Yeah, from league standpoint, you say, well, I made a pretty good pitch, but Melky as a hitter let the ball come to him, didn't try to get out in front and pull it, and just put it in play. When you do that, sometimes good things happen.
Pitch to Fasano, a strike. Sal struck out twice today. Slow roller back to League. He's going to get the out at home. And not in time with the return. He took too long to get the ball home. And that allowed Fasano to rumble down the first baseline.
And rumble he did. A little check swing out there. They get out at home. Now, oftentimes before the DH, when a pitcher had to run like this, hot weather, 2 out, you'd say to the hitter, take a couple pitches. Give the pitcher a chance to catch his breath. They might have to do that with a catcher today.
Well, you see a slider, somebody who throws as hard as League does, and it's Sal hustling all the way down the line. Guy throws that hard, backup player. You're looking for that one pitch. Got fooled with that slider.
Here's Nick Green. Grounded foul. Along with Jim Cott and John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball on this hot Thursday afternoon right here on the Yes Network. We thank you for joining us. 5-1 Yankees lead. Way outside. Boy, his fastball has a lot of different speeds. He'll go anywhere from 90 to 97. It's not a consistent velocity.
Maybe they're working with him on trying not to just throw the ball by hitters, but get a little movement on it. Change finger pressure, maybe grip it a little tighter in your fingers.
Right back to League. He'll take the out at first, and that will do it. But the Yankees score 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 big error, and the bases are left loaded for the second time today. We've played 5 at the stadium. Yankees lead 5-1 on Yes. As we go to the 6th, it's time for the Subway game summary. 5-6-0 Yanks, 1-3-2 Jays. Ryan Roberts solo home run on the 5th. That's his first hit. Obviously his first home run of his major league career. Jason Giambi has 31 home runs now. A 3-run home run in the first inning. And he's third in the American League with the long ball. Derek Jeter singled in the first, and that extended his hit streak to 12 games. Yankees have a new program here, John. I don't know if you realize it. They start people young at the stadium. They start to scout very early. Between innings, Skippy starts warming up a couple of kids.
Fan-friendly Skippy, making great plays down there, teaching these kids what it's all about.
What a thrill it must be for them. Somebody with a Yankee uniform was playing catch with him. Pretty nice deal. So Skippy just obviously playing for the camera, looking for camera time.
Not him.
No, not Skip.
He doesn't do that.
Skippy told me earlier today that he needs Gary Sheffield back. That allows him to make the great plays on the hard line drives. Now you can see there he was trying to maneuver the hose that they used to water the infield back, and the reason that was out is that the Yankees did something that we never see them do here during a game. They actually watered the infield as the Yankees were taking ground balls before the inning. Pitch the loss is a strike. And this they never do, John, so I guess the field is so hot and they didn't want to bake it that hard, so they just decided to water it.
Give the guys a break, maybe cool off that infield a little bit. Danny Cunningham and his crew, nice job.
106 degrees on the field. So it's cooling off. They count 1 and 2. The heat is supposed to break tonight. It's supposed to be a thunderstorm in the area. And normal temperatures of about 85 to 90 tomorrow in New York City. The Yankees will be in Baltimore. And Toronto returns back to Canada. They'll play the White Sox. Just missed.
Close pitch right here. Maybe just down a little bit.
Watch the front knee. That was low. Not by much.
2-2. Swung on and missed. The ball gets away from Fasano, and Gloss is going to be able to reach. So that's a strikeout and a wild pitch.
Yes, Sal's as good as they come at blocking him, but I don't think he could do much about this one. This is that skidded off the plate, and it was kind of moving down and back in, wasn't it?
And had a little movement away. I think Sal will probably be kicking himself about that one. He probably feels like that's one of the ones he should have blocked and got caught in between trying to pick it. And
yeah, I thought at first it hit in front of the plate, but maybe because it actually hit the plate and skidded a little on it.
It took off on it.
74 pitches for Lidle, 43 strikes. Here's Lyle Overbay, 0 for 2. And there's a strike on the off-speed pitch. They got Overbay from the Brewers during the offseason. The Brewers had to make a decision. Overbay or Fielder. They decided to go with Prince Fielder. It looks like it was a good choice. Fielder's had a very nice first season. Scott Proctor getting loose in the Yankee bullpen.
Well, that's Corey Lidle's reputation. He averaged 6 innings a start in the National League, or with the Phillies, actually. That's pretty much been his game. And there's nothing wrong with that, the way the game is played today, if you have a good bullpen, because right now you can begin, if you're Corey Lidle, you'd like to go 9, but with a 5-1 lead, you know, you almost treat this like it's your ninth inning. Years ago, a 5-1 lead you felt was pretty comfortable, but now every guy that steps in that batter's box is in scoring position. So one swing, they're back in it in a hurry.
Like you said, Jim, if you have a quality bullpen, your mindset here is I'm leaving it all out there right now. You know, this is my 9th inning, like you said, and
Overbay down on strikes.
Good pitch.
Hey fans, get a second chance to see the latest game with WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore only on Yes. Tune in again tonight at 7 or again tomorrow morning at 9 for the big hits and great plays of this game another time around. Don't miss WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore only on Yes. Here's Alex Rios. Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Cutting over is Cabrera. Gloss will round second. He'll go to third. The throw comes into second. A good strong throw by Cabrera. And that holds Rios at first.
well, the book on Rios is you can get in there on him, and Sal and Corey Lidle tried to do that, but that ball is down in the zone where you can just drop the bat head on it. Probably wanted to elevate it a little bit more. It's out of the reach of Alex Rodriguez.
Going back to that mindset, I think, of starting pitchers today, and you say you don't purposely say, well, I just want to go 6 innings, but back when you felt like if you were a starter in this situation, you say, well, I got 3 more innings to go, so I don't want to get behind and nibble, and you were much more apt, I think, to challenge hitters. Maybe you'd give up a couple runs in this inning, but you still had the lead and you were going back out there. But now the way bullpens are, you can afford to start to work a hitter over as if it were the last inning of the game in a close game.
Here's Zahn, 0 for 1 with a walk. And this could be 2. There's 1, and there's 2. He got just what he needed. A 4-6-3 double play to get out of the jam. He appreciates his defense. He has given the Yankees 6 strong innings. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. At the end of 5.5 innings of play, Yankees 5 and the Blue Jays 1. And now here's a word from Fox News Channel. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees lead 5-1 as they try to sweep this 3-game set against the Blue Jays. 5-6-0 for the Yanks and 1-4-2 for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays in the final game of their 10-game road trip, and they're 2-7 so far on this trip. A trip in which John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays at the start, said was make or break. 2-8 sounds like break. Scott Schoenweiss, the fourth pitcher used by John Gibbons.
Normally it's Schoenweiss, Spire, and B.J. Ryan when they have the lead, and they haven't been able to work them since Sunday, so may see each of them for an inning. There's Schoenweiss's numbers. You can tell by the number of games in the innings. He's a little bit like Mike Myers, might just come in and face a lefty or two.
Here's Johnny Damon. Pitch is outside, 1-0. Damon's 0 for 3 today. Popped to third, grounded to short, and fly to center. Count 2-0. Well, Gibbons does have what most managers love. He's got an equal breakdown of lefties and righties. He has 3 lefties, 3 righties, and his closer is a lefty as well. Robinson Cano played in a rehab game for the Class A Yankees down in Tampa and went 2 for 5 as the DH. And he will continue his rehab Friday with the Trenton Yankees against Bowie. And that would be putting him on pace to get back to the Yankees during this road trip, probably in Chicago. He's probably not going to rejoin the team in Baltimore, but Yankees start a 3-game set against the defending champions Tuesday in Chicago, so he will probably rejoin them then unless he has another problem with the hamstring. And the 3-2. Just got a piece to stay alive.
And if you think we're hydrating here, I guarantee they are in Tampa in early August.
Grounded to second. Ryan Roberts. 1 away.
Talking about hot weather, you see Don Mattingly in your picture, and his son Preston signed with the Dodgers. He's down playing in Vero Beach, and I check with Donnie periodically. How's he doing? Going through a little slide right now, but Donnie said the scouts are so impressed because it is. You think it's hot, Donnie? It is hot like this every day. And he said the reports come back that he's playing like it's the 7th game of the World Series. You know, running hard, running out every ball, and they're impressed with that down there because that kind of weather could really drag you down.
You think that hustle's in the genes?
I think so.
Yeah.
Donnie actually said it was good he was struggling. He said it's a good time for him to come back down to reality a little bit because such a confident kid and was having some success early, and it's all part of the minor leagues, going through the struggles and moving your way up.
Tap slowly to second base. Ryan Roberts again gets a shot. 2 away. One more bit of information about another injured Yankee, and that is Octavio Dotel. He threw a scoreless inning for the Gulf Coast Yankees as well on a rehab assignment. He will stay down there to get another rehab assignment or so. And with all the Yankees maneuverings during the trade deadline period, they did not pick up reinforcements to their bullpen. And if they can get back Dotel, that would be a huge addition if he's anything close to what he was before the surgery. There's Bobby Abreu. And there's a strike, 0-1. Abreu is 2 for 3. Fly to right, single to left, and single to right. Also scored a run. Now, Hideki Matsui went to the doctor today to have his surgically repaired wrist looked at. And if everything goes well, he could start to swing a bat and get on a rehab assignment shortly. They're hoping to get him back by the end of the month. He's hoping by August 15th. But that is might be a little bit too Too much for him to get back that quickly, although you know what he's thinking. He wants to get back by Fenway Park, where the Yankees start a 5-game series against the Red Sox in the middle of the month. You would assume that every day Melky Cabrera goes by Matsui's lockers. Take your time. there's no rush.
The way Melky's playing, he's making his own playing time. Find a way to keep him in there.
1-2. Well, Joe Torre said the other day, I will use him at every single outfield position when we have a full allotment of players back. He said he will get in there a lot, and that's what he told Brian Cashman. Because Brian even asked about next year, because next year when Matsui's healthy and you've got Abreu and Damon, does that mean that Melky goes back to the minors? And Joe said not necessarily. He said I want a solid fourth outfielder that I can rely on with good at-bats and make good plays in the field. Count 2-2.
You know, getting reports on those guys is all well and good, and everybody wishes them well. But I think, you know, Derek handles it the best. You can't worry about who's coming back. As a team right now, you say, this is what we've got. This is what we're going to play with. And if they come back, then you cross that bridge when you come to it.
The 2-2. And he's worked the count from 0-2 to full.
Same old story for Bobby Abreu here.
Yep.
Behind in the count 0-2. Like you said, Michael works his way back, but that's a gift that a lot of hitters do not have, the ability to hit with 2 strikes, not afraid to get behind in the count.
And the 3-2. Driven out to left center field. Going to be a tough play. Reed Johnson on the run, can't get there. It splits the outfielders, and it rolls to the wall. Abreu thinks about 3, but then says, no, I'll take the double. He's got 3 hits.
A typical Bobby Abreu bat, John, and also typical for the Blue Jay pitchers. That was a pitch inside. Instead of trying to pull, he just went with it, hit it the other way. But it seems like Yankee hitters have had so many 3-2 counts. The Blue Jays tied up a lot in scouting report-itis, and really a lot of nibbling. I mean, he had him 0-2, Schoenweiss did. Just missed with the 0-2 pitch, ends up 3-2. Then the advantage goes back to the hitter.
Swing right here. I mean, his bat stays through the zone so long. He has that ability to hit the ball the other way, and not just hit it the other way, but drive it the other way.
Now the Blue Jays playing matchup right here. They're going to walk Alex Rodriguez. And they will take their chances lefty against lefty with Jason Giambi. I wonder about that, because Giambi is not a guy who seems to be counteracted much by lefties.
Well, you play the percentages. I mean, it's like if you go into Boston, you're looking at Ramirez and Ortiz. You'd like to dodge one of them if you could. And that's been Schoenweiss's job, come in, get left-hand hitters out. So certainly that's the percentage play.
Well, Giambi, 7 for 29 against Schoenweiss. So you might say, well, what's Rodriguez? He's 7 for 30. But it just comes down to lefty-lefty. Schoenweiss against Giambi.
And the fact that Gibbons has watched Alex the last few days swing the bat very well, and maybe decided to take my chances with Jason here.
So Giambi got the Yankees off quickly in the first inning with a 3-run home run. Walked in the third, intentionally walked in the fifth. And now up with runners on first and second and 2 outs here in the 6th. Yankees lead 5-1. And the count 1-0. 406 on base percentage. And the only thing that's really changed about Giambi from his salad days with Oakland is the lower batting average. And I guess a lot of that could be attributed to the team playing the shift, because if you talk to David Ortiz of the Red Sox, his average is not what it once was, and he says that he loses a lot of hits trying to hit through the shift. But he said he's not going to change the way he hits to keep his average high. 1-1. Driven deep to center field. Wells back, still back, still back. It's over his head, and one hop over the wall. Abreu scores. A-Rod stops at third. It's a double and an RBI for Jason Giambi, and the Yankees lead 6-1. No shift stops that.
Exactly what you want to do when they walk Alex Rodriguez in front of you is come through, and Jason gets a ball out over the plate and drives it to center field. Talked about it. Vernon Wells doesn't catch it. Nobody's going to catch this ball.
Caught a break with the ball bouncing over the wall. A-Rod would have scored easily if it stayed in play, but it didn't. And now Craig Wilson gets a chance against the left-hander, and he really excels against them. Pitches outside from Schoenweiss, 1-0.
If Joe keeps this lineup intact, the top five, by the time the Yankees get back off the road, Jason may have 100 RBIs then. I mean, he is really sitting in the right seat. That's why, you know, with the big red machine, that's how Tony Perez picked up. You got Morgan and Griffey, and you got Bench. You used to have George Foster. You got all these guys that hitting ahead of you and getting on base. Boy, you love to hit out of that 5-hole.
And the count 2-0 to Wilson. Wilson today is 0 for 3. Picked up a couple of hits yesterday in his Yankee debut, 2 for 4. So 2 for 7 overall. A .267 hitter, 13 homers, 41 ribbies with the Pirates. That's driven out into right center field. It is a base hit. Cut off in the gap by Alex Rios, but A-Rod scores. Giambi scores. It's a 2-run single for Wilson, and the Yankees lead 8-1. First 2 Yankee RBIs for Craig Wilson.
You love to see these 2-out hits, and we've seen Craig Wilson pull the ball last night. First time in a Yankee uniform, he shoots it to right center. Big 2-out knock. 2 RBIs.
And again, he continues his excellence against lefty pitching. Here's Melky Cabrera. And the pitch is a strike. Along with Jim Cott and John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball on the Yes Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, Yankees lead 8-1 over the Jays as they're looking for a sweep over their division rival. Not holding on Wilson. And a broken bat, one hopper to Ryan Roberts, and he will get Cabrera for the final out of the 6th. But the Yankees score 3 more runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 6 in the books at the stadium and a broken bat. 8-1 Yanks. If you'd like to contribute along with the Tri-State Hyundai dealers, log on to hopeandheroes.org. IO Digital Cable scoreboard. Yankees beaten up on the Blue Jays after 6 innings, 8-1, 8-9-0, beating 1-4-2. And Corey Lidle's Yankee debut is over. Did well. You give up 4 hits and 1 run and turn it over to Scott Proctor. Yankees will sign up for that.
Yeah, and this guy's done well, too. Those numbers don't even tell you how well he's pitched, because he's had to go out a couple times when he was pitching on fumes and give up some runs. But for Lidle, I thought the biggest out, obviously, is the ground out of Vernon Wells. With a couple men on when the Jays looked like they might get back in it.
I think he's exactly what the Yankees hoped they were getting. You know, a veteran pitcher who can change speeds, throw some strikes. You hope you put him on this team where the Yankee lineup is going to score him some runs, and he'll be even more apt to throw the ball over the plate and not nibble as much. And an outstanding debut.
Well, Brian Cashman, the Yankee general manager, very clearly stated that he would not have made the Abreu deal unless he got Corey Lidle. And the Yankees obviously targeted Abreu, but he felt that what they were giving up and the salary they were assuming, they needed another pitcher, and he would not have made the deal unless Lidle was thrown in. There was some speculation that maybe John Lieber was somebody that the Phillies wanted to substitute because he had another year and big money left on his contract. But from what I've heard, the Yankees didn't like what their scouts saw of Lieber this year, so they wanted Lidle. Count 1-2 to Hill.
This has been a pretty good formula for the Yankees. The bullpen's a team within a team, and you start building up some confidence where you say, well, Proctor will get the 7th, Farnsworth the 8th. He's been lights out. Even though it's not a save situation, Mo hasn't had to pitch for a while.
Mo's just chilling. And the 2-2. High pop-up. Behind the plate, Fasano makes the play. Had to skip around those bats in the on-deck circle. Did a good job of it. 1 away.
A nice job by Sal Fasano here, like you said, Michael. Nimble feet here, moving around the on-deck circle. One thing you want to do, you want to get to that fence as quick as you can and then play the ball coming back towards the field with the backspin, and Sal does it perfectly.
Do you have any idea where the bats are, or are you just hoping you're not stepping on them?
Yeah, you're hoping you're not going to step on them. I mean, you can't take your eye off the ball. You're going to have a tough time picking it up if you look back up there. So you just hope you don't roll an ankle or fall over there.
Here's Roberts. First big league hit in the 5th inning was a memorable one for him, a home run. And the 1-0. Upstairs, 2-0.
Well, talking about Brian Cashman wanting a pitcher, and when we show you this graphic of when the Yankees score 4 or more, that'll point out how important pitching is. Now, if you digest those numbers today, it'll be the 74th game that the Yankees have scored at least 4. The White Sox are there at 77. Red Sox a little higher. And the winning percentage, you know, the Yankees have lost 17, but the bullpen's been getting better. So that tells you you don't really need more hitting. I mean, 3/4 of the time you're getting enough runs. So if they can just improve that late inning pitching like they're doing right now, then that winning percentage would be up there with the Tigers and the Twins. And obviously all those teams are the ones that are at the top of the division.
And most of them are in playoff contention as well. We'll show you the wild card standings in just a moment to tell you exactly where everybody sits. The 3-1. Roberts swings and misses.
At first, when the quality start came out, there's the wild card standings. Does not include, of course, today's game. Blue Jays starting to fall out of it. Twins they're slipping a little, and they had to scratch Francisco Liriano, their left-handed phenom, from his start. Nothing serious, I guess, but he didn't pitch yesterday when he was supposed to. Forearm strain.
3-2. Roberts pops it up. Right side. Wilson back. So is Green. Here comes Abreu. And Green makes the catch. 2 outs.
We started talking about the quality start maybe 15 years ago, and everybody poo-pooed it. Say, well, you pitch 6 innings and give up 3 runs. That's an ERA of 4.50. Well, years ago, starters were able to pitch 8 innings. You know, they would, not because they were better than pitchers did, because they were allowed to. Now with the bullpen, if you get a starting pitcher to go out there every game, pitch 6 innings, give up 3 runs or less, and you saw the kind of run support the Yankees get, you're going to win the pennant going away. The division.
Here's Reed Johnson. He is 1 for 2 and was hit by a pitch for the 16th time this year. And there's a strike.
There's a McCarty scouting report on Reed Johnson. He's a tone setter, not only in the outfield with his aggressive style, but his aggressive style of hitting and keep off the bases. He's been on there twice tonight. Been hit and run, like you said, Michael. He's been hit a league 16 times.
There's that breaking ball away. The count 1-1.
Is that because the scouting report on him is to jam him, or because he just stands up there and just takes one for the team?
I think it's a little bit of both. You definitely have to crowd him inside, up and in, especially. And with his stance, he's a little open. You can see that there, and he turns into the plate and tendency to get hit.
That looks like he's got that body armor on, so he's not afraid to take one for the team. Be nice to see Major League Baseball do away with that. Would help the pitchers a little. Doubt they'll do it.
The 2-1. Foul back. Reed Johnson really got his chance to be in the lineup every single day when Alex Rios came down with the staph infection. Catalinato played left. Reed Johnson played right, and he's not moving out of the outfield now that Rios is back. Catalinato is DHing. For a while, they started the season. Eric Hinsky was playing the outfield, kind of platooning with Rios, and then Rios took off and made the All-Star team as well. The 2-2, foul back.
Well, you can really see when Scott Proctor gets proper rest, and you've caught him, how much crisper his stuff is. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's a difference between 99 and 95 or 4, and that could be a big difference.
That's a big difference, especially, you know, his fastball doesn't have a whole lot of movement, but you're right. Once you get the rest, and he's fully loaded to go right now. And you know, we talked about it last night. The addition of Ron Vallone pitching some big innings, starting to stretch out this bullpen, and giving guys their proper rest.
And the count now full at 3-2. And the 3-2 to the 350 hitter. Foul back. Johnson making Proctor work. After the game, the Yankees head to Baltimore. They start a 6-game road trip. 3 games in Baltimore. Monday is an off day in Chicago. Nice city to have an off day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night against the defending champion White Sox. And that's a game with huge wild card implications. That whole series. And this weekend, the White Sox go into Toronto to play the Blue Jays. Fouled away.
Boy, this is the kind of at-bat you want to walk down to the hitter and just throw it to him. Say, here, throw it up and hit it. See where it goes. Good pesky at bat by Johnson. Nice short compact swing. He can keep chipping away those good pitches.
And the 3-2. Hang it in there.
This is fun. An 8-1 lead. You know Scott Proctor's just going to rear back and let her eat. And Reed Johnson knows the same thing. And see who wins the battle.
The last fastball was 98 miles an hour from Proctor. Tried the slider. Proctor thought it got the outside corner. So did Fasano. Took a step toward the Yankee dugout. Johnson wins the battle on the walk.
Larry Poncino has gotten some glances from pitchers today. That looked like it was just a bit outside. Sal tried to tug it back in, but close, but just off the edge. That's a Questec ball. 5 years ago, no Questec. Hot day, 8-1 lead. Strike 3.
It was Catalanato. And he takes a fastball strike. Catalanato hitless in his last 8 at-bats. He walked in the 5th inning. 0 for 2 before that. Grounded to second and flied to right. And the count is 1-1. We're in the top of the 7th at the stadium. Yankees lead the Jays 8-1. Blocked nicely by Fasano. Yankees took 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay to start the homestand. And now poised to sweep the Blue Jays, so that would make them 5-1 out of 6, and that certainly gets it done.
They've already won the series, obviously, and I think is it 10-1-1 in the last 12 series? I know they lost to the Nationals 2 out of 3, and then the Blue Jays beat them 3 out of 4, and there was another one they split, maybe Texas?
Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland. But that's how you win the. Uh-oh, Skippy booted one. That's how you win divisions. Is you know, we talked about the urgency in New York to win every day. There's a rare error by Skippy.
The heat is getting to him.
Oh no, he didn't. No, he just. Oh, I see. On the
On the
exchange.
transfer, yeah.
On the exchange. Yeah, showboating a little.
He skipped. The 2-2.
Where these guys put some 2-strike at bat. Even last night against Wong, they put some good 2-strike at bats. And foul off a lot of tough pitches.
Slow roller back to the mound. Proctor gets him on the slider for the final out of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6 1/2. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees lead 8-1, and although people are very hot, they are going to stand up here at the stadium and listen to the voice of Yankee Stadium, Mr. Bob Shepard, as we honor America here in the Bronx.
Now, please offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are stationed around the globe, and especially remember those who have lost their lives defending our freedom and our way of life. And now,
Neck and neck with the Yankees in the East. The Yankees win this afternoon. The onus will be on the Red Sox to keep pace tonight at Fenway. We'll see you again on the postgame. Now let's get you back to Michael, Kitty, and John.
Well, thank you, Bob. Back here at Yankee Stadium, we're in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Yankees have used their bats to compile an 8-1 lead on the IO digital cable scoreboard. 8-9-0 for the Yankees, 1-4-2 for the Jays. And it's going to be a new pitcher for the Jays. Jeremy Accardo will take over for Scott Schoenweiss. 5th pitcher used by John Gibbons. And Fasano fouls it back. Accardo came over from the Giants in the Shea Hillenbrand deal. And those are his combined numbers with San Francisco and Toronto. Fasano, Green, and Damon.
Almost throws like he was a catcher, John. How quickly he gets the ball out of the glove.
Well, short arm delivery, and another young Blue Jay pitcher who comes in here throwing hard. A lot of good arms out in that bullpen, just haven't put it all together yet. Here you see his motion.
Let's see how quickly the hand gets up in the throwing position. And the thing so far you have to like about Accardo, he's been in the National League where here it is, hit it if you can. The rest of the Blue Jay pitchers have come in and it's backfired on him by, nibbling, walk people, error here, bases loaded, and it blows up on him.
And Sal Fasano strikes out for the 3rd time today. So he is 0 for 4. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Sony Bravia LCD TV, the official HD TV of the Yankees. You watch Sal Fasano. He has struggled today at the plate. Strike him out, throw him out, double play in the 2nd, strikeout in the 4th. Grounded back to the mound in the 5th, and then a strikeout here in the 7th. And you would think that backup catcher has got to be one of the toughest jobs, and specifically tough because how do you keep your stroke? You can take all the BP you want, John. It's not the same thing as facing Jeremy Accardo.
I think you have to concentrate on the defensive part of it. Anything you do offensively is a bonus. I'm sure Sal Fasano is thinking, you know what, we're winning 8-1, giving Jorge Posada a day off. All in all, it's a pretty good day, even though the individual numbers aren't there.
It's no different than a former teammate of mine passed away just a little over a month ago, Jim Lemon, big power hitter. And Lem used to say there's only one way to play the outfield, swing that bat. For backup catchers, it's forget about the bat and catch.
See, but the interesting thing, though, obviously that's the truth, but the Yankees have moved backup catchers in and out because they don't hit enough. Kelly Stinnett did a pretty good job behind the plate, but they didn't think he hit enough.
Well, that's I think the way the thinking has changed. I mean, if you polled the pitchers and said, here's your choices of catchers, they wouldn't care. Yeah, backup, they don't care what they hit. They just want a guy that they feel comfortable throwing to. Confidence in him calling the pitches.
And Nick Green goes down on strikes. He's 0 for 4 today.
I always said Johnny Bench changed that. Bench, I think, was the first catcher. There's Green down on strike. Early in the game, talk about Joe Mauer leading the league. I think when I was a kid, I heard the Schnoz, Ernie Lombardi. He won a batting title, a couple of them back in the 40s, and he couldn't run a lick. But you don't see many catchers winning batting titles. But Bench became a guy who not only could throw, but was an offensive force. Up until then, most of your championship teams just had it was catch first, call the pitches, pitchers feel comfortable, throw a runner out here and there, and then if you hit, it's a bonus.
Only one other catcher has won a batting title, and that was Bubbles Hargrove of 1926 Cincinnati Reds fame.
Bubbles?
Bubbles.
And he was a catcher?
I think that's who Lombardi was with when he wasn't he with the Reds?
He was with the Reds.
Yeah,
I think he was with the Reds.
It's destroying my reputation for catchers with a name like Bubbles.
But you know what? There was no Bubbles Flaherty, so you're okay. Grounded right side. Nice play there by Ryan Roberts, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jeremy Accardo. And that'll do it for the Yankees in the 7th. We go to the 8th. Yankees lead 8-1. You're watching Yes. As we go to the top of the 8th inning, it's time for the Blue Jays in-game box score, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. Not too many hits in there, 4. And Corey Lidle's debut. Scott Proctor didn't give up a hit in the 7th, so Lidle gave up all the hits. 1 to Reed Johnson, 1 to Gloss, 1 to Rios, and 1 to Ryan Roberts. The Roberts hit a home run. Reed Johnson had a double. The other 2 were singles, and all in all, an outstanding debut for Corey Lidle. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. The Yankees lead 8-1 as the Blue Jays could not do much against the newly acquired right-hander. And here is Kyle Farnsworth as he will pitch the 8th inning.
He's been pretty close to automatic lately. John mentioned the other night that, and you've seen him, evidently his motion's a little smoother.
He's got that leg kick that sometimes gets a little out of whack. It seems like he's straightened that out, and control has been better, and velocity has been through the roof. It's 100 miles an hour.
Wells was waiting on the fastball, but really didn't get it. Cabrera will put it away. A 99-mile-an-hour fastball to start off the proceedings. Now, the only question you could have about this move, and you see Farnsworth's numbers, why would you bring in Farnsworth with an 8-1 lead, and you've been kind of loath to use him back-to-back? You might need him tomorrow.
Well, you see Sidney Ponson warming up, and I think you would look at this scoreboard and say, here's a game where Sidney would come in, and the thinking might be Proctor 7th, Farnsworth 8th. Now they only got 1 shot left, so bring Sidney in the 9th rather than bring him in the 7th, and if he doesn't do well, you know, your game gets a little. That might be the thinking. I don't know, but I kind of agree with sooner or later you got to get those secondary relievers an inning or 2 and show them that you got confidence in them that they can pitch in a winning game. It looks like Sidney's going to pitch the 9th.
Lost today 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
You've caught with Larry Poncino behind the plate, the home plate umpire, and so far today it looks like he's had. Does he have the reputation to have a little tight zone?
I would say it's a little bit tight, but the one thing Larry does not like is when those pitchers start looking in at him. He can get a little aggravated, and I'm sure out there with the heat, he's probably not real happy right now.
That's what I liked about the game before the DH. You know, you'd come out leading off an inning late, you know, and you'd stand up next to him. Boy, you're doing a good job today. You haven't missed a pitch yet.
3-0. Missed outside, so Gloss walks on 4. Now, if you're behind the plate, John, and your pitcher is staring in at the umpire, and you know the umpire's getting chapped, I mean, do you turn around to the umpire and say, no, listen, he's a jerk. Don't pay attention to him?
Well, I don't know if I would use those words. I would talk to him and say, listen, if I don't mention anything that I didn't think it was a strike, and if it got to the point where it was just going too far, I would go out and tell the pitcher, you know what, just let me take care of it. You know, you're throwing the ball well, I'll take care of it back there. We'll get him on our side, or get some of these close calls and, you know, you diffuse the situation.
Pitch to Overbay is low.
I would never call a pitcher a jerk.
Ever.
Ever.
Even if the pitcher was a jerk?
Never.
Okay.
You'd call him worse than that.
now 1-1. Along with Jim Cott and John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball on a steamy Thursday afternoon in the Bronx. Yankee bats have been hot as well. They lead 8-1 here in the top of the 8th inning. Count 2-1. Overbay 0 for his last 9, so hasn't done much in this series at all. Had a pretty good series against the Yankees when the Blue Jays took 3 of 4 in Toronto a couple weeks ago.
Well, Sidney might be in there sooner than you think. I think it looked like just 1 or 2 calls kind of upset Farnsworth. A couple close pitches.
He's not missing by much. Just off the plate there, a little up.
And the count 3-2.
I think that's the way the game has changed in terms of teams having potential to come back, because normally in a game like this you'd bring a guy like Ponson in and say, see if he can pitch the last 3 innings.
I think, a lot of these pitchers, they won't admit it, but an 8-1 ball game for Kyle Farnsworth is a little different. The intensity level might not quite be there.
Off the glove of Farnsworth, Jeter will flip to second. They get the force. So you score that 1-6-4 on the force, and Overbay reaches on the fielder's choice.
Yankees will take that trade. Farnsworth may have gotten into center field. He didn't deflect it, and Derek has 1 play, and that's the shovel toss to Green. Nice reactions.
So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Alex Rios.
Yeah, the point you make is another reason. A lot of times your short relievers or your setup relievers, they're better when they come into close games. I wonder what they spot something again. He missed some time. He missed a day or 2 with back spasms, and here comes Gator, Gene Monahan, Joe Torre. Oh, did he feel that bare hand? I thought he hit it with his glove.
He hit it with his glove.
Could it be a blister? Maybe his hand was in the glove. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it did. I thought it deflected off the glove. But
yep. Joe Torre's probably telling him, don't be a hero here.
Not in a game like this, you don't take any chances.
So we'll step aside for just a moment, and that'll bring up even more questions why Farnsworth was in there in an 8-1 game. Ponson will come in. You come on back. Home run in the first inning, another $1,000. 77 Yankee home runs this year at Yankee Stadium, good for $77,000. And Sidney Ponson moved out of the rotation when the Yankees got Corey Lidle, works out of the bullpen for the first time.
if there is nothing seriously wrong with Farnsworth's finger, he took that ground ball, then this could be a bonus for the Yankees getting Sidney in here, because you like to be able to show your manager and team that you can pitch late in the game with your team in the lead. So if he, if he gets 4 outs here, finishes it off, then I think that's going to give Joe Torre a little more confidence in him in other games late to say, well, let's bring him in the 7th inning.
Sure, give him some confidence as well coming out of the pen. Probably hasn't done that an awful lot in his career, and new role for him.
Here's Alex Rios, 1 for 3. Ponson was with the Cardinals. They took him out of the rotation when they got Jeff Weaver and wanted to put him in the bullpen. He said no. And that's why the Yankees were able to get him.
I didn't know pitchers could do that.
I guess he could.
Really?
Yeah. It worked out for him. He went from the Cardinals to the Yankees.
Yeah.
He said, I signed here to be a starter, not to be a reliever.
Yeah, I always thought if they said you're going to the bullpen, and if you said I'm not going, then they'd say, well, you're not good enough to start. See you later.
Right back up the middle, a base hit for Alex Rios, his second of the afternoon, as Overbay moves to second. So a base hit for Rios. Mariano Rivera talking with Kerrigan. Maybe he's saying, hey, if they need me, I'm ready to go. I think he said, if they want me, I can go. Last pitched on Sunday. There's Zahn. Count 1-0.
It's interesting with some starting pitchers who go down to the bullpen. I know Tanyan Sturtz was one of them and was a starter with Tampa Bay, and then came out of the bullpen here with the Yankees. The velocity goes up all of a sudden. You don't have to pace yourself through 5, 6, 7 innings. You kind of go out there in that one inning and let it fly. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with Ponson, but we've seen it happen before with other starting pitchers.
Zahn hits well against Ponson, 7 for 23, 1 home run. Pours a fastball strike, 92 miles an hour.
And that's why as soon as the Yankees got Lidle, I asked Joe about Ponson's role, and he went to him and said Sidney accepted it well, that he could help the team in that last pitch. I thought is why he can come in and just powder River for a few pitches and get you some outs. And now that was a breaking ball again. 2-1 breaking ball, 8-1 lead. It's behind the count 3-1. It's the kind of situation where you'd almost go to the hitter and say, here it is, see if you can hit it out. The last thing you want to do is give him a free pass, and that keeps an inning going sometime more than a home run.
Yep.
And the 3-1. Driven out into left center. Bubba Crosby cuts over, and he'll put it away for the final out of the 8th. So Ponson comes in and gets it out. No runs a hit, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 8-1 Yankees. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Time now for the Yankees in-game box score, sponsored by your Tri-State Lincoln and Mercury dealer. Johnny Damon has not done much, but there goes the theory: if the leadoff guy doesn't get on, you don't score. Jeter 1 for 3, and that extended his hitting streak to 12 straight. 3 hits for Abreu, 2 for Giambi, a 3-run home run in the first, 2 for Melky Cabrera, an RBI. Craig Wilson, a 2-run single as well. New pitcher for the Jays, it's B.J. Ryan, and Jeter fouls it off.
Pretty impressive numbers. Hasn't worked since Sunday when he gave up. Roy Halladay had a 2-run lead, I think, stood to get the win, and BJ didn't hold it, but he's been rock solid. And when you look at his motion, it was Milton Bradley right here. Monopolized the game.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Chopped right back to Ryan, and Jeter is 1 for 4.
John, you look at his motion, and I mean, it's not 94, 95 miles an hour, but I guess that motion, a little herky-jerky motion, helps him hide the ball. The hitters must not see the ball well often.
No, it doesn't register 93, 94 like you said, but it plays like 93, 94 just because of that deception and the herky-jerky motion. And it's definitely not a guy that you feel comfortable against, even being a right-handed batter. It's a tough at bat. He's been going through a little tough spell here lately, so John Gibbons giving him an opportunity maybe to work on some things here.
Blew a save against the Yankees. And that was when the Yankees were in Toronto.
Here you see the delivery, the high leg kick here. Hides the ball very well. Very tough to pick up.
Count 0-2 on Abreu. And a hot ground ball to short. 2 away. So Abreu is 3 for 5.
You know, some organizations, I think, are going to begin to teach you. Watch Ryan's glove. How he tucks it. See how he tucks it right there? Now, if, boy, and he really throws against that stiff front leg, using that for leverage can cause some back problems sometimes. But we were always taught to turn the glove over, and the palm of the glove went toward the hitter, and that acted as a little, you know, it was a little deceptive. But I noticed, you know, Maddox does it. A lot of pitchers, you'll see him tuck that the glove hand in. That seems to be the fashionable thing to do now. Remember, there was a time, I think they made him stop doing it, but pitchers had the strings on their glove. They left the strings because they thought that was distracting the hitter.
Ryan doesn't distract the Yankees that much. As you saw, the worst numbers he has against the team is against the Yankees, an over 5 ERA. He's blown 2 games for Halladay in the last 3 starts that Halladay's had. That could cost him a Cy Young award. Alex Rodriguez today is 0 for 2 with 2 walks, 1 intentional, the 3-1. Driven to left field. Reed Johnson on the run. He gets there quickly, and that'll do it. Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 against the Jays closer, B.J. Ryan. We go to the 9th. Is it going to be Mariano Rivera in an 8-1 game? Could be. Stick around to find out. We go to the 9th inning, and it's still Sidney Ponson. Mariano just taking some to the mitt because he had not pitched since Sunday. Yankees lead 8-1. Top of the 9th inning. It'll be Hill, Roberts, and Johnson against Sidney Ponson, who came in to get the final out of the 8th inning after Farnsworth was hurt. Farnsworth, his bare hand nicked by a comebacker off the bat of Lyle Overbay. And that's all we know. They brought in Ponson, the 1-1. Fouled away. Ponson's a big guy, and he has in the past had alcohol problems, and he said he has not had a drink in about a year, and he substitutes ice cream for drinks. So he's going to work even harder to stay in shape if that's what he does.
That's an interesting substitute,
I guess. And he readily admits it. He said, I eat more ice cream now. And I guess it's a good trade-off.
I wonder if he's ever tried cottage cheese or something. I like ice cream too, though. It is a pretty nice way to substitute.
3-2. Still 3-2.
Again, talking about the latter part of this game, where with an 8-1 lead, sometimes you need to trust a guy like Ponson or somebody else coming out of that bullpen. The underlying factor is the psychology of it. Oftentimes, there's Mike Myers getting ready. Oftentimes, a Proctor and a Farnsworth, their concentration's not quite the same in a big game, with a big lead.
Grounded to Jeter. Hill's out, 1 away. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. And by Continental Airlines, the official airline of the New York Yankees. 105 degrees on the field, 41% humidity, not 42%. And here's Ryan Roberts, pitch outside. So the heat the last 3 days has done nothing to cool off the Yankees on the field. They are poised to sweep the Blue Jays, count 2-0, and go 5-1 on this homestand. You see what Ryan Roberts has done. Struck out in the 3rd, a home run in the 5th, his first big league hit, and then popped the 2nd in the 7th. That one's driven out to center field. And Bubba Crosby is there, and there are 2 outs. So the Jays are down to their final out.
Nothing new for Sidney Ponson to get the last out of a game here at Yankee Stadium. He's done quite well here as a starter when he was with the Orioles as far as complete games. I say that because I don't care how many years a guy has pitched. If he's never had to get that last out, there's a little different hurdle to get over with that.
Got to stay tuned for the Nissan postgame. Nancy Newman is in the Yankee clubhouse. We'll find out about Kyle Farnsworth, and Bob Lorenz is back in the studio. That one is flared out to right field. Fair ball, it's trouble, but it's a foul ball. Reed Johnson today in the first inning grounded back to the mound, hit by pitch for the 16th time this year in the third, doubled in the fifth, and then walked in the seventh. The double was to left field. Crowd looking for the strikeout. A crowd of 52,156. Many have gone home. And Johnson, who likes to foul pitches off, fouls that one off into the upper deck, first base side.
94-mile-an-hour fastball, best fastball we've seen from Ponson today.
Well, that should be the way he could help the Yankees coming in for just an inning or maybe a couple hitters, is just show him the best fastball he's got.
And the 0-2. There's a base hit down the left field line. That's going to go into the corner. Cabrera will dig it out. And Reed Johnson's been on base 4 times. He picks up his second double.
And that's there's an example of it. That's kind of a bad decision. You throw a 90-some-mile-an-hour fastball guy, and you come back with a slider. It's going to speed up his bat, and that's what that did right there.
Hanger. Reed Johnson, the type of player never to give away an at bat. That's why he's hitting over 350. 2 outs. He didn't want to be the guy to make the last out.
Catalanato 0 for 3 today with the walk.
We mentioned, of course, yesterday was the anniversary of the tragic death of Thurman Munson. In the brief time I did get to pitch to Thurman, these are the situations you wouldn't even get a sign. He just waved the hand in. Come on, fire it in here. You might hit it at somebody.
There's a strike.
Yeah, when you're pitching, you just hope that somebody isn't sitting in the right field bleachers.
And the 1-1. This should do it. Wilson will take it himself, and the Yankees sweep the Blue Jays. They take this one 8-1. A great homestand for the Yankees. Sidney Ponson closes this one out. Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the Devil Rays and 3 in a row from the Blue Jays, and this is the final out. So Wilson will step on the bag, and Jason Giambi, who got the Yankees off on the right foot in the first inning with a 3-run home run, likes what he sees. And the Yankees never look back after that swing that put the ball in the bleachers in the first inning off Sean Markham. We got a lot more to do. We're going to give out the awards that you love so much. We'll break this down, then you got to stick around for the post-game show as well. Yankees beat the Blue Jays 8-1 right here on Yes.